Myrie. This episode is called Donald Trump, the Gangster President, right? He's a gangster, man. He's not a normal guy, but please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. This should be an interesting one because he has history from a long time ago. There's a lot of things about this guy. There's a Bible of stuff about this guy. He has history. So when I say he's a gangster president, that means he does whatever he wants to do. That's kind of the definition of a gangster, right? So let's see and dig his history if he has any ties to that shit, right? Now, I'm looking at something right here showing Donald Trump. Now, you see, he has an attitude that he doesn't give a damn what he does, Mr. Donald Trump, right? He doesn't care what he does. So, that's a gangster style. So, let me read some shit, what I've done. I looked up. Donald Trump's business career and public life has been subject to intense scrutiny, and one of the more persistent themes in his history is alleged ties to organized crime. So they have tied him to organized crime. These associations have sparked a wide range of discussions, ranging from mere speculation or to more substantial claims, while Trump himself has denied any close connections with criminal enterprises. Multiple investigation reports, court cases, and testimonies over years have painted a complicated picture. So they have investigated Trump over this. A lot of people don't even know this shit. They have actually investigated him if he was tied to the mafia, right? Trump's early years in real estate business. So it's the real estate shit they're trying to put him with this gangster business, right? Donald Trump inherited his father's real estate business in the 1970s, which was initially focused on residential properties in Queens and Brooklyn, New York. In the years that followed, Trump set his sights on developing high-profile properties in Manhattan. However, he sought to make his mark in the competitive New York City real estate market. He encountered several figures linked to organized crime. Of course, it's New York. Of course, it's New York. I'm not surprised. This man his whole empire was built off of New York. And who's in New York? The mafia. The mafia's been in New York. They got history. So let's see how if they try to muscle him because they got history. He's a gangster president. You see how he's talking right now. The role of the mafia in NYC construction and development. They are known to be the big guys in construction and to bully labor or whatever unions and shit like that. And Trump is a big real estate guy from New York. So he must have, knocked heads with the mafia. During the late 20th century, the construction and real estate industries in New York were heavily influenced by the mafia figures. Yes, mafia figures, particularly those associated with the Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese families. These families control many labor unions, like I said, and had significant influences over construction projects in the city, often extorting businesses and participating in corrupt practices to secure contracts. So Trump probably had to deal with these guys. He probably had to pay these guys off. He probably had to fight them in some type of way. That's why I said he had the FBI as his bodyguards. Kind of makes sense now. So that's why he's the way he is. He got influenced by these guys, right? Contracts. It is within the environment that Trump's name became associated with these figures. One of the most widely discussed allegations centers around Trump's connection to the construction industry. Trump worked with several contractors and labor unions in the city, some of which had known ties to organized crime. So I'm right. Known ties to organized crime. So they know Trump, right? And Trump's in Las Vegas too. Remember that. Connections to the industry. Trump worked with several contractors and labor unions in the city, some which were known, connected to organized crime. For example, in the construction of Trump Towers in 1980s, Trump employed companies whose leaders were allegedly tied to mafia families. Who's talking about this now? No one's talking about these things. They said this man was tied to mafia families, like he has some type of connection. Am I surprised? No one's bringing this shit up. People are scared of this shit. Only people like me is bringing this shit up. Look this up. This is real research, testimonies, and allegations from former associates. Right? This is Trump. Right? Several former associates of Donald Trump have claimed that Trump was aware of it, even complicit in these connections. One key figure in this narrative is Felix Sater, a Russian American businessman. Damn. So he had links with Russia a long time ago. And that's why he's in Russia now. Yo, this is getting more deeper, this rabbit hole, yo. Yo, Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate ventures, including Trump Soho Hotel. I didn't know that shit. Trump was working with a Russian businessman a long time ago? Who's digging this up? How much people know about this shit? Yo, you get people for sure be watching this. Trump on various real estate ventures, including Trump Soho Hotel. Sater was linked to the Russian mafia. Holy shit. Now I'm seeing what's going on, yo. This guy, the guy who he was working with, this Russian businessman, was linked to the Russian mafia. So that's why he probably wasn't really scared of the Italian mafia. This man had his own muscle, yo. Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate ventures, including the Trump Soho Hotel. Sater was linked to the Russian mafia and convicted of violent crime in the 1990s. He later became a cooperative witness for the FBI in organized crime investigations. Holy shit. And this guy's the president of America? I know Trump was kind of corrupt in certain things, but are you guys hearing this, what I'm saying, yo? This guy done something violent and then they caught him, right? Let me read this over because this is not fake shit, right? This guy's linked to the Russian mafia, convicted of a violent crime in the 1990s, and later became a cooperative witness with the FBI in organized crime investigations to take down other organized crime. He's linked to the Russian organized crime, this guy who helped Trump build a lot of things, right, in New York or other places, right? Despite his criminal background, Sater was able to forge a working relationship with Trump. Hear that? With Trump. Even becoming a senior advisor to the Trump organization in the 2000s. Sater's ties with the Russian mafia and other shady figures raised questions about how much Trump knew about the association background and whether he was involved in the illicit dealings. Holy. Yo, you could talk about all the 34 charges. You could talk about all this other shit, but Trump's been already. He is a gangster, yo. Trump is a gangster president, for real. All this stuff I'm digging up, man. This man been working with Russian mafia, been working with Italian mafia. There's record of him working with this guy. What? Do you want to erase this shit? The guy had a criminal background. Additionally, in 2019, report by New York Times revealed that some of Trump's business dealings, particularly in his early years, were financed through methods that suggested indirect ties to organized crime. These reports indicated that some loans for Trump's early properties came from leaders with connections to people with alleged mafia ties. Holy shit. That's why this guy don't care, man. Now that I'm reading this, he's dangerous. Trump is a serious man. He is friggin' dangerous. Americans should be scared of this guy, yo. If you don't know, now you know. Like, I've been saying this shit without reading any of this, but now I'm giving you more details of what he's been doing for years. I've been talking that he's gangster. This man, there's record on record ties to a Russian businessman who was linked to the Russian mafia. And before, as I was reading about him involved with the labor unions and the construction in New York and shit like that, that his backing was the Russians, the Russian mafia. That's why he wasn't scared of the Italian mafia in America. Trump's Taj Mahal casino, in particularly, was the subject of an FBI investigation in the 1990s. Who's talking about that? No one's talking about this shit. People want to bring up dirt of the past on other people, but look at this guy. He's a big hypocrite, yo. Trump Taj Mahal Casino, particularly, was the subject of FBI investigation in the 1990s, with reports suggesting that he had business dealings with individuals connected to the Gambino family. Shit. Crime family. In fact, several of the people who helped finance the casino were linked to the mafia. We know the mafia have been in the business in casinos in Las Vegas, right? Crime family. I wonder if he's gonna admit this shit because this is fact. This is public record, and a lot of people ain't looking this shit up. You see how they brainwash people nowadays? You see how they got people nowadays to believe, yo, crime family, right? Finance casinos linked to the mafia, including one of the biggest investors, a man named Johnny Doc O'Shea, who had alleged ties to the Genovese crime family. There's too much people Trump is a gangster president. That's why he talks the way he talks. That's why how he does business like a gangster businessman. Trump financial dealings and his inability to keep certain shady figures out of his business raised concerns about his level of involvement with people connected to organized crime. In 1991, the New York Magazine interview, Trump openly admitted that the mafia is very much part of New York City. Of course, he knows that, right? New York City scene and the reality of doing business in New York often involve working with these figures. So he admitted working with the mafia. The man admitted working with the mafia. And he's going to say about cartels. He's talking about cartels and drugs coming into America. What do you think the mafia has been doing? And organized crime. They've been bringing in drugs in America from a long time ago. That's why he knows about what the cartels are doing. Damn, man, this guy's very hypocritical, man. He's very fucking hypocritical, man. Like this guy's saying all this shit, and you know what it is? He doesn't respect Americans. He doesn't respect them. That's why he says all you have to do is they believe anything on television. Because look, a lot of people are not reading and doing research unless they really dig, right? Trump's relationship with the five families of New York. You want me to read this? I already read enough. And no one's talking about this shit. Like the 34 charges, what he has. One of the most persistent aspects of Trump ties to organized crime is an alleged connection to New York's notorious mafia families, the Gambino, Genovese, and Bonanno, Lucchese, Columbia families. The families exerted considerable control over the city's business, particularly in construction, which Trump is involved in, right? Construction, waste management, and other industries. While there is no definite evidence to prove that Trump was directly involved in mafia operations, his relationship with people connected to these families have been widely reported. So it's been reported. There is history. And now this guy's talking about how in Venezuela and Colombia, he knows. Of course, you know about the drug operations. Of course, you know about the cocaine, right? Because you got in a source. You got a big source, Trump. Of course, you know all about that, right? For example, Trump's connection to the notorious figure like Roy Cohn, his mentor in the 70s, has raised questions about the type of influence he sought. Cohn, who represented many prominent mafia figures, was said to have introduced Trump to key figures who were alleged to be involved in organized crime. While Trump denied direct involvement with the mafia, his association with Cohen placed him in the orbit of some New York's most powerful criminal figures. Oi, 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 oi. I don't know if anybody is doing any real deep dive investigation on Donald Trump. That's why I call this episode The Gangster President. But for sure, this man is not like no other. That's why he talks the way he talks. That's why he bluffs and threatens people. I mean, he threatens people and bluffs because that's part of extortion. So his style is a gangster style, how he does stuff, right? Investigations and public perceptions. While this, while the while Trump's ties to the mafia remain ambiguous, his relationship with various criminal figures have been the subject of multiple investigations over the years. Authorities have scrutinized his real estate deals, casino ventures, and other business dealings for possible illegal activities or criminal associations. Yet, despite all allegations and investigations, Trump has never been charged with any crimes related to organized crime and mafia activity. So, those 34 charges. Those 34 charges, what are those? I want to know. They say they're minor. They're covering up. He's the president now. So, what are the 34 charges? I want to know. What's the 34 charges? Yo, we're talking about all this other shit with war and how he's talking spicy. But I guaranteed in those 34 charges, some of this shit I'm saying is involved because I knew this guy was kind of dirty. He was never clean. That's why I'm not surprised of what he's doing and how he talks, right? The conclusion, a legacy of alleged connections. This is the conclusion. The question of Donald Trump's ties to the mafia is unlikely to be fully answered, for sure, anytime soon. While evidence of direct criminal activities have not surfaced, the association's financial transactions and influential figures linked to Trump's career presented a complex web of relationships that continue to raise questions. Whether it was directly involved in mafia activities or merely operating within the system where such connections were commonplace remains open to interpretation. As Trump continues to be significant figure in the U.S. politics, these allegations will likely remain part of the narrative surrounding his legacy. How much of his base fact versus perception will continue to be debated, but only one thing is clear. Trump's rise to power was and continues to be deeply intertwined with the gritty, sometimes dangerous world of New York City's real estate scene, the world that has long been influenced by organized crime. So, listen, let's be straight up. No one is dumb nowadays. Trump had to cross paths with these figures of organized crime. I just told you there was a Russian businessman who was linked to the Russian mafia. And that's why now it makes me rewind to the time of the first elections when people thought that Russia kind of was involved in him becoming the president. How much people remember that? The allegations of his first election was kind of rigged because the Russian government was doing some type of shit to influence the vote. How much people remember that, right? No one's talking about that. See, this is why it goes over a lot of people's heads nowadays. No one is talking about when he first got elected, um, all the stuff behind it. But as I read, he was associated with a guy who was associated with the Russian mafia. And before, as I read earlier, and it was talking about New York, right, and his rise, he had to have some contact with these mafia families. And his muscle, right, undercoverly was the Russian mafia. The Russian mafia wasn't famous and big like the Italian mafia, but obviously they were around when the end times, the popularity of the Italian mafia, right? So Trump was very confident for his protection in some type of way that he could do his business, his casinos. No one extorted him. Maybe it could have been the Russians, but no one extorted Trump. The mafias, the five families in New York, they didn't get to extort Trump, right? They tried to. I heard that story. They tried to extort him, It didn't work. That's why he's the way he is. Now he's on a bigger scale. He's the president, a world scale. So that's why he's going after these cartels. And maybe he, remember, when he first became the president, who did he have part of his team? Who did he have? Giuliani, right? Remember Giuliani? Giuliani is known, he's the most hated by the mafia in New York. Giuliani is responsible for locking up a lot of mafia figures, right? Giuliani is good with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's revenge was having Giuliani in his office. Giuliani was helping Donald Trump probably behind the scenes. Giuliani was the mayor of New York for many, many years. Guaranteed he helped Trump. He's a big Trump supporter, Mayor Giuliani. Not too long ago, it hasn't been too long ago, they wanted to charge Giuliani with shit. He was supposed to go to jail, prison himself. What happened with that? And he's associated with Trump. Do you guys know that Giuliani was supposed to go to prison or they charged him? I forgot the charge. I could look it up. But he's associated with Donald Trump. He was with Donald Trump in his first term. Giuliani, the guy who locked up a lot of mafia guys. So um, this is the gangster president, guaranteed, 100%. This is the gangster president, and he has a long history of dealing with some shady people. Like I was saying, I want to find that figure. Genovese, every single family is brought up. All the main families is brought up in his history. Some way with the labor unions and construction. We all know that the mafia is involved with construction, history with the construction from a lot of the Italian mafia, right? So I'm trying to find that. Okay, so several former associates of Donald Trump have claimed that Trump was aware of it, right? Even complicit in these connections. One key figure in this narrative is Felix Satar, a Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate projects, ventures, including Trump Soho Hotel. Satar was linked with the Russian mafia, the guy who works with Trump, and convicted of a violent crime. I don't know what crime that was, but was convicted of a violent crime in the 1990s. He later became a cooperative witness for the FBI in organized crime investigations. So the guy who's good with Trump got arrested and then cooperated with the FBI for other organized crime investigations in New York. And probably this guy is one of the biggest rats. They talk about Italian mafia rats. No, this Russian businessman who was good with Trump worked with the FBI and ratted on a whole bunch of organized crime people. So that's why Trump is so confident, and he does what he does. He learned from all of these organized crime groups, and like I said, he always had the FBI as his what's it called, his security. So he had the inside information, right? So when the mafia was trying to extort Mr. Trump, they weren't successful doing it because of how he got the inside information. So who is this guy? Who is this guy? What's his name again? Felix. Who's Felix? You're not hearing about Felix, right? Trump associates himself with some shady figures, like this guy Bannon too. This guy who's known to be a white supremacist. This guy Bannon, you hear him talking on podcasts and shit like that recently. He was in Trump's administration, and I think he got rid of him. So you have to look at when Trump became the president in the beginning and the people he put in certain places. Now, The second run, he got Elon Musk, a other businessman, right? And we still don't know everything about Elon Musk. You just know that he's a billionaire. He's from South Africa, and he comes from a wealthy family. We still don't know. The orange one, yes, it's the orange one. But how much of you guys know really about Trump's history? Even the ones who support Trump. How much people really know about this guy, right? Because if you're just joining now, I've been talking about his connections with organized crime, alleged connections, but there's a lot of proof in the pudding, right? He has investments in Las Vegas. He has investments in many places. And this guy, this Russian businessman, Felix Satar, right, helped Donald Trump in the early days with what? Let me read this for the people who are late, right? Several former associates with Donald Trump have claimed that Trump was aware or even complicit in these connections. One key figure in the narrative is Felix Satar, a Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate ventures, including the Trump Soho Hotel. Satar was linked to the Russian mafia and convicted of a violent crime in the 1990s. He later became a cooperative witness for the FBI in organized crime investigations. Shit. So, yo, Trump is good friends with gangs, like basically gangsters, or a guy who was linked to the Russian mafia. And you know, the Russian mafia is serious. Earlier, I was reading about the five families of New York. So many things in the world to be doing or exploring here. Yes, there is, but who's exploring the man? Because a lot of people worship Trump. Is exploring him besides all this other shit, what he's doing in the world? How many people know about this? Sacha Riley, right? Who's Sacha Riley? Is it because they're saying this guy was linked to the Russian mafia and he actually done a violent crime. You want me to read more? It doesn't look good for Donald Trump. It does not look good for him. But he doesn't care because the 34 charges, what they dropped, made him more feel like he's like Superman, right? No one, yeah, Trump victim. Look, I'm going to go over this again, right? Because I don't think really people know Trump's history. They just know what he's done recently, right? Donald Trump, business career and public life has been subject to intense scrutiny, and one of the more persistent themes in his history is alleged ties to organized crime. These associations have sparked a wide range of discussion, ranging from mere speculation to more substantial claims. While Trump himself has denied any close connections with criminal enterprises, right? I don't think so. Criminal enterprises, multiple investigation reports, court cases, and testimonies over the years have painted a complicated picture. And he's rich. He could do that, right? Very rich. Trump's early years in real estate. You know, organized crime is big in real estate, right? He's the best president, but he's a gangster. TRC, right? He's a gangster. He's the best president, but he's a gangster president. So that's what he's done with the other countries. He's bullied people. He done that recently at the World Economic Forum. Trump's early years in real estate business. Donald Trump inherited his father's real estate business in the 1970s, which was initially focused on residential properties in Queens and Brooklyn, New York, where the mafia is, right? In the years that followed, Trump set his sights on developing high profile properties in Manhattan. However, as he sought to make his mark in the competitive New York City real estate market, he encountered several figures linked with organized crime groups, particularly the mafia. So he was, right? What is really scary is living outside the US after his first term. You Americans voted for him again? Yeah. Americans love Trump, it seems like. It seems like he's winning over the people. He's winning over the people. Americans love Trump, man. The role of the mafia in NYC construction and development. They've been big in there, and Trump is a real estate guy, right? During the late 20th century, the construction and real estate industries in New York were heavily influenced by the mafia. Watch the documentaries, the mafia, right? mafia figures, particularly those associated with the Gambino, Genovese, the Lucchese families. These families controlled many labor unions and had significant influences over construction projects in the city, often extorting businesses, participating in corrupt practices, and secure contracts. So, did Trump run away from these guys? Did Trump get extorted? I don't think so. They probably tried and he fought, right? Trump has balls. Yes, he really has balls from those times. Because when it says the mafia was doing all this shit, and like I said, he had Giuliani with him his first term, and Giuliani locked up a lot of mafia guys. So remember that. Giuliani from New York locked up a lot of mafia guys. Look up Sacha Riley. Okay, I'll look that up. His new board is Doggy People plus the Canadian Prime Minister. The Canadian Prime Minister is kind of hustling Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump is mad. He says he's angry with Carney. He's kind of hustling Donald Trump straight up. He's Carney's doing deals, man. Carney's doing deals. So it's like a game. Who's winning, right? It's like the playoffs right now, right? So now, let me read this. Corrupt practices. The most widely discussed allegation around Trump's connections to construction industry. Trump worked with several contractors, labor unions. So, like I'm saying, you can look this up. It's crazy. Like people, there was 34 charges before this guy really became a president. Why is no one questioning those shit? Our prime minister is not on that board. Oh, oh, you're right. Rick, his new board is dog, dodgy. Billions to join the club. Trump gets the veto any vote. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's gangster. So what I'm basically saying, this is a gangster president because he's not going by about any rules. If you look up the definition of gangsters, they don't go by any rules. They go by their own rules. So he is inherit that lifestyle or that in his whole presidency, right? He's inherit that. And he has history with New York. He's a New Yorker. The other day, he put the F finger up to somebody who was calling him a pedophile, right? The Epstein files came out. People are alleging that Trump's been part of this, and the Epstein files are not out. He's like talking about them himself, and he's kind of like teasing people, and they're not out, right? You want to hear about the testimonies and allegations from former associates of Trump, right? Several former associates of Donald Trump have claimed that Trump was aware of the even complicit in the connections of one key figure in his narrative is Felix Satar, a Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate ventures. So he already had connections with Russia a long time ago. Most organized crime guys from Russia have connections to politics. They accuse Russia, the whole government, of being the mafia. So Trump knows what he's doing. Today, I could tell you what he's done. He brought his son-in-law and straight from Davos, Switzerland, and a whole bunch of other guys to meet up with Vladimir Putin. He just got them to go and said to Putin, end the war. He's telling Putin to end the war. Best friends with Mr. Putin. Yes, you're right, us 25. He's telling Putin to end the war. He brought his son-in-law, he made his son-in-law Kushner go down there. He makes it up, and as he goes along with surrounded by yes men, so is dangerous. Yeah, he made his son-in-law go down there, people. He got his son-in-law to go down there and talk to Putin, not himself. And a lot of people don't know, maybe it's just fresh news now, that he talked to Zelensky, that Trump met with Zelensky today, right? So he's telling Zelensky and Putin to stop this shit, stop this war, and go to the table and come up with some type of peace. But it's kind of hypocritical because he's doing all types of shit around the world himself. He's doing all this other stuff and he's telling people to end the war, right? That's news if you don't know. He got his people to go to Russia today. So he's making moves. Carney's making moves. You got the Canadian Prime Minister doing stuff with China and all these other countries and talking. and then Trump is doing his shit with his people, right? Was discussing how he treated Zelensky. Yeah, yeah, it's true. When Zelensky visited America, he ripped him in front. That's what is that? That type of style is gangster. That's why I call this the gangster president. Donald Trump is the gangster president. And what I've read so far through this live stream is history. It could be allegedly, but the people are real characters. They're real characters who I'm talking about. They're real people, right? Trump relation to the five families of New York. He knows all about them. I believe what happened is the five families' downfall in New York is Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump took these guys all out with the help of the mayor there, right? Giuliani, because they're trying to screw with his money. You don't mess with Donald Trump's money. So Donald Trump, the stuff what he's doing in Minnesota, right? He knows how to find the money. So the stuff about the billions of dollars, what was scammed in, of course he knows about scams. He already dealt with the mafia. So of course he knows about scams in Minnesota, right? Those people he was gonna come around, who's next? He's gonna bust a couple other people. It's not just gonna be the Somalis in Minnesota. You're gonna hear about other shit. Okay, there was the sports thing. That's quiet now. The thing with the sports league, the NBA and the mob that came out, right? A couple basketball figures was involved. They say now it's quiet. He was talking about shit like that too. So he's going after the money everywhere. He knows how to go after it. He learned from organized crime groups. He's a businessman himself, right? He has businesses in Russia. Before he became the president, I heard that he had investments in Russia. People was accusing Donald Trump of having investments in Russia. You guys don't remember that? Do you guys remember that people are talking about him in Russia from the first term? And do you notice throughout this whole shit what Donald Trump's been doing around the world? Putin been quiet. Like once in a while, you might hear, I don't know if it's real news, oh, the nukes and like he shouldn't do this. No, no. Don't you notice out of all the leaders, Putin was quiet? Is quiet? Just look it up. But now there's a meeting with Trump's people and Putin. So Canada's doing alliance with China. And after Russia or America is talking with Russia because Russia is not nice with Canada. Canada is fighting Russia right now. You know how they're fighting Russia? Canada's the biggest supporter of Ukraine, giving Ukraine billions of dollars and weapons. Why? Who's that fighting? That's fighting the Russians. So in return, because Trump doesn't like Canada, I mean, he likes Canada, but he wants to take over Canada. In return, he talks to guess who? Mr. Putin. So he's trying to make it good with Putin. He already secured his deal in Greenland, saying that they will defend it. And if they don't defend it, Russia and China will take over. So now he's trying to make good with Russia. Holy shit, this is dangerous now. So if America gets good with Russia, what's next? So any American, are you with this communist? Because basically it seems that Trump wants to work with the communists. He wants to work with the communists, and crazy, Canada wants to work with the communists, right? They're working together. Shit. Wake up, people. Trump is working with communists, the people you don't like. He's working with them. Right after the meeting in Davos, whatever, Switzerland, he sends his son-in-law and a couple envoy to Russia to talk to Putin, to tell Putin stop the war. What does he have to offer Putin? Why would Putin stop the war? Why is he going to stop the war? What is he going to give Putin? Putin wants real estate himself in Ukraine. What is he going to give him? The oil. Don't you guys remember about the oil tankers? What America took? Are you people forgetting about those oil tankers? I think you see how people forget? Are you forgetting about the oil tankers? I'm giving the info. You're probably American, balls striker, bandito. Are you American or are you Mexican or Spanish from South America? Because that's fact. The oil tankers just 2 weeks ago, America took. And now he's talking, he brought his son in law to go to Russia right after the World Economic Meeting to tell Russia stop the war in Ukraine. He's smart. Trump, I have to give him this. I have to give him this gangster style. He's saying basically, Putin, I will give you the oil. I will make you have a part of this real estate what I got if you stop this war with Ukraine. And if Trump gets this Putin to stop the war, imagine if Trump gets Russia to pull out the troops and stop the war. Wouldn't that look really good for Trump and America? Damn. You guys just analyze that. Analyze that if he gets them to put like to stop the shit. Remember, they have the Russian oil tankers, people. Do you guys forget? The ones who was leaving Venezuela? Americans was watching that for a couple weeks. The army, it could be. It's not no imagination. You must be imaginating. Yo, people, tell what's his name, Ballistic Sky Bandito. You probably not watching the news, right? He's irredeemable to anyone with a conscience, bro. Because you gotta look on it now. What was that a fantasy? Tell me if that was an illusion. The oil tankers America took. Tell me if that's fake. Just tell me that's fake. And the coincidence that right after the World Economic Meeting, and he said he's not taking over Greenland, that he sends his son-in-law and to talk to Putin. You know what he's saying? Putin stop the war. That's true. That's recent news. Go look it up. You don't need me to tell you that. Go, you have a phone, you have the internet. Go look up the recent news with Donald Trump and his son-in-law, right? Look at the Epstein files. Are they talking about the Epstein files? No one's talking about Epstein files. He's covering up a lot of shit. He's the gangster president. God bless our brilliant president. Yes, he's a brilliant president and he's gangster. He'll do anything he wants to get anything, like get anywhere to any level. Wake up, especially that bandito guy, what he was talking about. I have vivid imagination. So they did not take no oil tankers. They did not take no oil tankers. That was just an illusion. That must be AI. It must be AI. Jared Kushner. Yes, Jared Kushner went to Russia right after the World Economic Meeting to say to Mr. Putin, convinced him no war, right? No war. And listen, I respect Trump in this way that he's honest, but then he's a liar too. I just read a whole bunch of stuff of his history. There's a lot of history about Trump, what people don't know. He's been linked to the Russians. People said his first term was like kind of polluted by the Russians with the elections. They accused Trump of having a rigged election and saying that the Russians were involved. And you see Kushner, his son-in-law, is in the government. His own son-in-law is in the government. People, is that made up? And he brought them right after the meeting in Switzerland. They're there. How much people know that he's talking to Zelensky? How much of you know that Donald Trump is talking to Zelensky? Had a meeting today. So you claim to know what Kushner and Putin talked about? Look it up. They said what they talked about. They said they want him to stop the war. You not informed. They said they want him to stop the war in the Ukraine. That's why they went there. They didn't go there to just have a cup of tea. They said they went there to stop the war. They said pull out of there because he has this influence now. Don't you see Trump put out that he'll attack anybody. I will take over any place down there. He's doing this because Iran is linked to Russia. And they had threatened to go to Iran just 2 weeks ago, and he changed his mind. So they're sending warnings to Moscow. Really, he brought the people them right there to send the warnings to Moscow. Let's work out a deal with Greenland, because he said that if we don't take over Greenland, this was one of the reasons he wanted to take over Greenland. He says, if we don't take over Greenland, right, China and Russia will take it over. He is a felon too. See? Yes, yes. They said Russia and China will take it over if they don't get Greenland. Yesterday he said, yeah, we worked out a good deal. He said, we worked out a good deal with Greenland. Greenland is listening. We worked out a long-term deal with Greenland. Is that fake? So he knows how to bully people like the mafia. That's why I call this a gangster president. He knows how to work out deals. He done it with TikTok. Am I making this up? He said that he would ban TikTok. It was a Chinese owner who owns TikTok. And they were saying the reason he wanted to ban TikTok because they were seeing Americans' information, right? So that's why he wanted to ban it. When he was going to ban it, it was almost the end of the world for people. I swear it was like the end of the world. And he kept going back and forth how it's going to be on. We're going to ban it. And then guess what? Just a month ago, if you guys are not updated, TikTok, the guy who owned it, gave a piece of the company to a lot of American investors. That was Donald Trump. Donald Trump got the Chinese owner to sell a big percentage of his company. Now TikTok is different, right? Bless up, men can't get pregnant, right? Oh no, not the crybaby. No, I'm not no crybaby. I'm telling you the truth. So you are a Jamaican guy. I'm not no Jamaican guy. I'm not Jamaican. Canada claiming to know what American politics is. I do know what American politics are. It's not hard to know what American politics are unless you're a dummy. Anybody can know what American politics are. There's tons of people who are educating Americans right now who are probably professors who are not even American. America got, after World War II, German scientists to do all types of research to build weapons. What are you talking about? America is the world's television. Everybody watches America. So what are you talking about? There's something called social media. There's something called the library and books, right? Yeah, Biden too. Oh shit, he's another case. But yo, when I say American president is a gangster, there's so much evidence. You guys could do your research yourself. And ball striker bandito, do some research, right? Do some research. Yeah, he has 34 felony counts. 34 felony counts no one's talking about. Operation Paperclip. Yep, heard about that. At least we have a president who has a functional brain. You sure about that? A lot of people are criticizing him, even American people, right? Venezuela will pay for Iceland. Are you seeing Greenland, right? Venezuela will pay for Greenland. Yes. And they're trying to pay off Russia right now, saying stop the war. You tell me if I'm talking shit about that. All the connections, just do the research. I'm giving you it. I'm breaking it down to you. This gangster president. There's evidence that he worked with a Russian businessman who was linked to the Russian organized crime group back in the 90s. There's evidence of him probably dealing with mafia figures way back. Giuliani was one of his good guys. Giuliani locked up plenty of mafia guys, right? Do you know who Giuliani is? Do you know who Giuliani is? Go look up Giuliani, what he done in New York, the three strike shit. John Gotti, all these big mafia guys. The reason you don't hear about the mafia as big anymore in New York because of Giuliani. And Giuliani himself worked with Trump's first term, and Giuliani himself was charged with serious charges, and he was supposed to be locked up in prison. Where's Giuliani? He's not locked up in any prison. So don't be fooled. I encourage you people to do your research because I'm not making up no shit. All of this is facts. Do you want me to read some of this guy's history? Right? Let me read up some of this guy's history. Trump's relations with the five families of New York. One of the most persistent aspects of Trump's ties with organized crime is that his alleged connections to New York's notorious mafia families, the Gambino, Genovese, Bonanno, Lucchese, Columbia families. The families exerted considerable control over the city's businesses, particularly in construction. What does Trump do? Construction, right? Construction, waste management, other industries. While there is no definite evidence to prove that Trump was directly involved in the mafia operations, his relations with people connected to the families have been widely reported. It's been reported. So if that is going on, you have to look on what he's doing now. To know the man now, you have to know his past. What are you guys saying, some of you? It's common sense to know this man's how he is now. You got to do research. When you go to school, don't you got to do research? That's how people become successful, graduate in university and college. You got to do research. No name. Okay, do your homework because cool. Go back. You go back to school. Whenever. See, I put people like this on timeout, right? There you go. Timeout. Right? So let me see. Let me read what you say. Men get pregnant. If the Democrats had any dirt on Trump, I think they would have seen it when there was running. They have dirt too, the Democrats. They got dirt too. You think you can't trust the YouTube. So now you're gonna go in timeout too for a certain time because I can't deal with foolishness. Come with common sense. You obviously don't look on reality, right? Reality. The man been doing a lot of shit. Let me knock you out too, right? Put you to 30 minutes. That's good. Come with the sense. Come with common sense, people. The man's a gangster. Let me read what I've been saying. Yeah, you could hate me. Hate me. D2E's in here. Bless up. They're getting really hot and spicy. In America, Democrats made it impossible to fail school from the 90s to 2010. So no, school means very little. Yes, you're probably right. Right? I put two people in timeout, D2E podcast. But now you're here. You could see the foolishness some of them are saying. Donald Trump's business career and public life has been subject to intense scrutiny. One of the more persistent themes in his history is his alleged ties to organized crime. These associates have sparked a wide range of discussions, ranging from more speculation to more substantial claims. While Trump himself had denied any close connections with criminal enterprises, multiple investigations, court cases, and testimonies over the years have painted a complicated picture. So, I read earlier, right? Yes, I own a book. And how much of you are reading books? You're not reading a book, you're on here. You're not here. This guy's just another brainwashed moron. Yes, I'm brainwashed so much that you guys don't do your research. Can you please put you in timeout? D2E, you're in here? Tell these people where it's at. Yes, I read many books, but a lot of you guys don't read any books. Right now, I'm reading. Right now, I'm reading. A lot of you guys don't read any books. Now, put it this way. I'm going to hit you with the people who's talking the shit here. Now, in Minnesota, he said the Somalis had a low IQ. This is how good America is. The Somalis had a low IQ, but guess what? They fooled your American government out of billions of dollars. So dummies could fool the American government out of billions of dollars. Dummies could fool the American government out of billions of dollars. Okay. It seems you think you are doing good by exposing Trump. I've been exposing Trump for a long time. You're new to this. He's exposing himself. Yeah, they're sheep, D2E. It seems you think you're doing good by exposing. I won't even read the rest. Make the rest read it. Not even worth it. You're watching. Why are you watching? Go watch some dummy. Go watch some dummy who doesn't know anything. Keep being brainwashed. Keep being brainwashed. The book he is talking about is probably Harry Potter. Whatever. Keep being brainwashed. You got these people online talking about the Somalis, and I don't support the illegal shit. The illegals I don't support. Right? I don't support that. But you're saying these people have a low IQ, but they managed to steal billions from the American government. Damn, so you don't need to be smart to steal from the American government. Whew, damn. You guys are so smart, man. You guys couldn't even scam them. You couldn't even scam the American government. You couldn't even get even a dollar out of your own government. But these people who are refugees have been laughing at Americans, right? And now there's a civil war going on in your country. You got a civil war going on. Time out. Let me put this one. Time out. Let me put you for like 30 minutes. Now you got a civil war going on. If you listen earlier to the episode, there's so much evidence. This man worked with a Russian businessman linked to organized crime. And basically, the connection is Trump has so much experience with organized crime. This guy who he was a business partner with, named, let me get his name because I'm not just talking, right? I'm going to actually give you the name, right? I'm going to actually give you the name of this guy. Okay, testimonies, allegations from former associates. Several former associates of Donald Trump have claimed that Trump was aware or even complicit in these connections. One key figure in the narrative is Felix Satar. Look that name up, Felix Satar. And let me spell it for you, some of you, right? F, capital Felix, right? Capital Sater, a Russian American businessman who worked with Trump on various real estate ventures, including the Trump Soho Hotel. So that's fake. Trump never had a Soho Hotel, right? Soho Hotel was linked to the Russian mafia and convicted of violent crimes. So Trump had a guy he was good with who was linked with violent crimes in the 1990s. He later became a cooperative witness for the FBI in organized crime investigations. So look that guy up. I just said it. So that's fake. So yes, safer. So is that fake? Someone's saying it. This 1423. Is that fake? I'm not a Democrat. I'm not no Republican. I'm none of that. I don't believe in that shit. That's all an illusion. That's all of an illusion, people. Some of you are aligning yourself with these parties, and it's just bullshit. It's bullshit. If you don't have the third eye, if you don't know what that is, it's bullshit. What rich man is not linked with the mafia? You're right. You're right, Matthew Gardner. What rich man? And he's from New York. You didn't hear what I was talking about? Giuliani, former Mayor Giuliani. What did Mayor Giuliani? Anybody in this chat know who Mayor Giuliani is? Do you guys know what Mayor Giuliani done when he was in power? Do you know who Mayor Giuliani locked up? Did he not lock up a lot of mafia people? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. What did Mayor Giuliani do? He did not lock people up. Am I talking shit? Look up Mayor Giuliani. They almost he got charged, and then someone kicked him out. He was disbarred. So Mayor Giuliani was a mayor for a long time. He made up the three-strike rule in New York. Plenty people got incarcerated for the three-strike rule. All those mafia people who was doing nice from a long time up into the 90s, John Gotti and all these guys, they disappeared after Giuliani put down a lot of the laws, right? And he became a criminal. You're right. Carney is I don't know about what you want to say about Carney. Carney's just hustling Donald Trump right now. Carney's hustling Donald Trump right now, right? Like I said, Mr. Man got his nephew. This is how you worked. Trump got his nephew, no, not nephew, his son-in-law. Let me correct myself, because he gets a lot of family members or people who are linked to him to do his dirty work. He got his son-in-law Kushner to go talk to the Russian president to say stop the war in Ukraine. Is that fake? That's new news today. That's new news. He got his son-in-law to go to Russia right after the World Economic Forum and said, yo, stop the war. Guess what? We might give you some oil, Russia. Didn't they get some oil rigs? Not oil rigs, oil tankers? Didn't they just capture 2 oil tankers? What about that? Carney gave the best political speech in many years. Yes, he did. I'll give him that. I was listening to that speech, and he was explaining a lot of the world geo whatever politics, and he's basically, and it's still not viral yet. I'm surprised. He was talking about the rule order, what all countries go by, this rule order, and saying it doesn't work, and that's why he brought up the new world order, which is kind of scary, and saying to all these other countries, let's come together basically against America, because what America's doing, being the bully. So that's what was going on. Like Carney brought that up. So because he knows what Trump's doing. Trump's the gangster. Trump's a gangster, 100%. He's a gangster president. Look up the definition of a gangster. What is the definition of a gangster, people? Tell me what the definition of a gangster is. A gangster does whatever they want. NATO humbled Trump, kind of, because Trump says he's not going to go to war with, he's not going to take over Greenland, but he kind of, his bluffing worked. That's like extorting. You know what extortion is? He extorted them. It's like a form of extorting. He's saying, I'm going to go to Greenland, take you guys over, pay you guys off, or all this shit. And then when he goes there, he says, yo, I'm not going to attack you guys, but we could attack you guys. We can take you guys over. But you know what? We got a long-term deal with you guys, a long-term deal, and we're going to have the military in Greenland. We're going to have it there because it's very important for us, right? I didn't think Trump would understand the word hegemony. Yeah, right? U.S. will now pay for Greenland's defense. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what they're doing, fellow Americans? You know what he's doing? Something similar to what he was doing with Ukraine against Russia. Well, the other presidents was doing it before Trump, giving them long range missiles to defend against Russia. So he's probably going to have some long range missiles, maybe, but he's talking with Russia. So I think what's going to happen, they have an agreement with Russia. For him to be in Greenland, he has to be good with Russia. And basically saying, Russia, stop this war with Ukraine. I'll pay you off with Venezuelan money. So stop this war, right? Stop this war. And I'll give you some money from Venezuelan oil, what we own. That's what it is. He's working and working every minute, people. You guys don't know about the news today? He sent people to Russia. He sent people to Russia, man. His son-in-law. His son-in-law is a politician, Kushner. If you don't know, this man has a lot of a shady past. I knew about Trump over 20 something years ago, right? Yeah, he's a traitor. It's like people forgot that the first election, people was accusing Trump of relations with Russia. It's like people forgot all about that. Now, his movements is because Canada made movements with China, right? Getting electrical vehicles, 40 to 50,000 of them, instead of getting any type of business from America. So right now is a scary time for Canada. I'll be straight up. It's a scary time for Canada because Trump been floating around the 51st state, and Russia does not like what Canada's doing in Ukraine. Russia doesn't like that what Canada is giving billions of dollars to the Ukraine. Not too long ago, Mr. Carney announced that, the reason we're building up the military in Canada is to defend the Ukraine. So Canadians are angry too. Not Canadians don't support that shit. Just because Carney said certain things don't mean Canadians support that. A lot of Canadians don't support the prime minister. There's actually people who are revolting, movements in Canada against the Canadian government right now. A lot of people in Canada like Trump. So Americans, if you're watching this, a lot of Canadians like Trump. Guess what? Even though he's a gangster president, I like that he is honest. I'm sorry, some Canadians may not like this, some people may not like this in America, what I'm saying. I like that he's honest. He has done some good things. And for me to say Trump has done some good things, it's kind of controversial in my position, because what I'm saying is, if you are illegal in America, if you are legal, it means illegal. You didn't come to America legal. So you should go back to where you come from. ICE is coming. It's going to be historic. ICE coming where? To Canada? ICE is not coming to any Canada because undercoverly, in a way, even though Carney is not fully agreeing with what Trump, there is the other the conservatives who want that position, want to take out Carney, right? There's the conservatives in Canada who want him out because Carney was put there. He wasn't elected in. Remember, our prime minister now wasn't elected in. It was Trudeau who stepped down because a lot of Canadians did not like, or I shouldn't say a lot of Canadians, but there was uproar against the previous prime minister, and the pressure hit him, and he said, "Frig this shit, I quit." And then Carney just took over. And Carney was he's into economics. He has history of being, I think, the minister of finance and a lot of shit. Well, we do have a lot of ice in Canada, but that's just January. I like how you put that. Elect the clown, expect the circus. Well, they didn't elect Carney. Carney, if you don't know, Chad, he was not elected. Maybe the second time he was not elected, he was put in there. The previous guy stepped down, and then he was put in there. But he was put in there to handle Trump, I believe, because Trump was, a businessman, gangster, into economical president. So guess what? Canada needed an economic prime minister so they could fight. Just look at that. His party was elected. Yeah, the second time, not the first. Maybe the second time, not the first. He just took that shit. It was the House. It was whatever inside vote, the beginning, and then Carney became the president. But I mean the prime minister. But Mr. Trump, people, I advise you to look up this man's history. If you don't know, the smart people will look up Donald Trump's history. There's several documentaries on this guy, right? Especially his business dealings. I seen a documentary about another billionaire. He took him out of business. He took the guy out of business. It was I forgot those hotels. It was some guy who owned a whole bunch of hotels, right? And I think when 9/11 happened, I think it was around 9/11. When 9/11 happened, his business went down, and Donald Trump came and swoop in, and took this guy out. No outrage or riots ensued. What do you mean, no riots? I don't know. You have to be more clear with that, Jim Baroni. But yeah, tell me he's not a gangster. This guy's the most gangster president of all. Even Americans are saying this man's gangster. In America, they're joking around and saying Donald Trump is a big gangster, right? I'm reading the comments, man, tons of them. Some of them there's a lot of great comments, and then there's some people who just are idiots, straight up. I put like 3 of them in timeout, right? But I read for you guys that Donald Trump worked with a Russian businessman who was connected to the Russian mafia. I read for you that he's been doing construction forever, and in New York, who controlled construction and labor unions. There's documentaries of that, of the mafia doing a whole bunch of stuff in New York, Las Vegas, all the stuff what Trump's involved in. There's stories of the mafia saying they tried to extort Trump, but guess what? They could not do it because guess who was his bodyguards? The FBI. And then when you read in this, as I read this about the Russian businessman, right? He flipped and started to work with the FBI himself, who and that same guy, what's his name? Because I want to read it. I just don't want to talk. I want to read this guy's name exactly, but I'm going to read over this Trump's allegations of corruption and dirty deals, right? Trump's connection to the mafia was not just confined to the realm of construction and real estate. The businessman, casinos, especially Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, also came under scrutiny for their alleged ties to organized crime. The casino industry in Atlantic City, which was booming in the 1980s and the 90s, was rife with corruption and mafia influence. Trump casinos was no exception. You hear that? Trump casinos was no exception. Trump's Taj Mahal casinos, in particularly, was the subject of an FBI investigation in the 1990s. You guys hear that? His casinos was in an investigation in the 1990s. I'm not making this shit up. He's the big Don, you're right. Right? Will you take the illegals to your house and shelter? No, hell no. I don't support that. Don't get it confused, Anthony Reed. Don't get it confused. I don't support no illegals. You got to come to the country legal. Never, I don't support that shit. I don't feel sorry for when Trump is deporting people who are illegal. You're illegal? No, I don't go by that. Don't get that confused. You might get it confused, right? I don't support that. So let me read this over again because this is real history. Trump's Taj Mahal casinos, in particular, was the subject to FBI investigation in the 1990s, with reports of suggesting that he had business dealings with individuals connected to the Gambino family. In fact, several of the people who helped finance the casinos were linked to the mafia. That's true. That's not made up. Including one of the biggest investors, a man named John Doc O'Shea, who had alleged ties to the Genovese crime family. Yeah, Trump is a gangster. Good, you know, S3231. Yeah, he is a gangster. Yes, at least you know you got sense. A lot of people don't fail to see it. You know, you got sense. Trump number one, you like him. So nothing. If you support the gangster business, you support Trump, right? He's people saying he's a dictator, so you support Trump, right? But will you fight all the people who support Trump? Tria Orgi, will you support him if he puts you guys with the draft? Will you go to war if war comes? Are you gonna put on those boots and go into the field and risk your life for Donald Trump? Anyone who believes in this orange diarrhea needs to remember to take their meds. You're right. What do you think the post-Trump era will look like? Okay, I'm gonna answer that one for Pablo 8957. Right? They're saying that he will be the last president. There's a book saying he will be the last president. And right now, civil war. If civil war happens, and they do what's called lockdown everything, martial law. Look it up. Correct me if I'm wrong. If martial law happens, which I'm gonna go look that up right now, I don't think he needs to step down as the president. He will be the president past if he's alive, because he'll be an old ass fart, right? By 2028. He'll be 83. So if martial law happens, it's possible civil war, things will change. Martial law, right? He will still be the president. And he'll make that up. Don't you guys remember what happened in Washington? Right? Don't you remember what happened in Washington? And he was supposed to be charged with that. He got off. He got off. Right? So Donald Trump's new order sparks martial law concerns, right? Martial law comes around, he still will be the president. Donald Trump's new order sparks martial law concerns. President Donald Trump has ordered federal agencies to increase the flow of military and national security equipment to local law enforcement to move that has raised concerns about military of policing across the United States. So people are fighting in the streets right now. You got ICE, you got the American citizens fighting, right? They just killed a white lady not too long ago. And big uproar. There's a whole bunch of other stories. You got these Black Panther groups, which is from the 60s, jumping out right now saying that they're defending. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Some people are saying that they're defending immigrants. I don't know about that. Black Americans don't really like immigrants straight up, like other people in America. Not all of them, but Black Americans don't really like immigrants because they feel that they have been taking their places in some type of way. So, are you guys ready for the martial law in America by the gangster president? See, so okay, Black Panthers don't want the illegal immigrants. That makes sense. But right now, they have put out fake news. Maybe it's fake news. I've been seeing people the other way around. They're saying that they're defending the immigrants. I don't think it's that way. I think they're defending American citizens, the Black Panther Party, American citizens against the ICE, this new Black Panther Party. I think it's like that because the FBA, Foundational Black Americans, this movement, what's been big for a couple of years now, they don't like other blacks who are not so-called generational Americans. So I gotta look that up even more and clarify that. Let's see what they're saying here. I'm gonna look up that shit because, like I said, this is a gangster president, and he was saying he's signing a lot of shit. He's using the American military as his foot soldiers and the ICE to do all this other shit, right? He's doing a lot of shit. So while the order does not specify types of equipment that will be made available, past programs involving transfer of military gear to police departments have included armored vehicles, tactical equipment, surveillance technology. The order to also stipulates within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security access training non-lethal capabilities and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. So they're going to bring out the big guns on the streets soon, right? People been criticizing him. They're bringing out the big guns. Black Panthers, Black Panthers said that the immigrant situation isn't their problem. I could believe that what you're saying, SZ, right? I could believe that because I've been hearing a lot of the Black Americans. I'm saying that they're not supporting all these what's called the Somalis getting deported because the Somalis didn't support their movements, right? Because I heard a lot of Somalis saying they're not black. I've been hearing that for a couple of years. So yes, this man is a gangster president. I gave you some evidence that this man's been connected to a lot of people who's been doing dirt, dirt. He has history of working with dirty people. But you people who support Donald Trump, will you support him if he drafts? Will you be in the military? If like forcibly, if he says, yo, you have to come fight. You're gonna have to come fight for your country. We're forcing you. You got to put on a uniform and go out there in the field. And if you don't, we're gonna lock you up. So you know what they might do? Right? If martial law comes and you say you don't want to be in the military, ICE is going to be out there. So he's developing ICE. It's like training. It's the first stage of it. This is the first stage. So he's sending the ICE out there to really get familiarized more with the different cities, different situations. And if America was really to go to war with whoever, because he's going everywhere, you never know where Trump is going. If America was really to do that, right? They draft and you say you're not going, you're going to jail. You're gonna go to prison, people. You're gonna go to prison, rich or poor. Maybe Richie might save them because he's a rich guy too. But rich or poor, you're going to prison if you think you're not going to go to war. And I swear he talked about the draft before. He's ready to draft people, individuals, a whole bunch of individuals. Do you notice there's been all these cases of people getting there's recalls ever since he became the president? There won't be a draft. You don't think so? No one thought he said he would go and take over all these countries. You don't think there'll be a draft? I'm just going to bring this up. Do you notice ever since this man became the president, a lot of RICO cases have been coming up against like certain celebrities, especially the rappers, rich people, kind of like a way to extort them out of their money, right? There's been a lot of things people are looking over what this guy has uh, done. Like I said, the 34 charges. What's going on? Why are people fighting one another when the only two sides have always been rich versus poor? Right. Yep. Yep. You're right, Sassy Mo. Perhaps, but this can happen with any president or world leaders. It is happening with other world leaders. They're doing a lot of shit, but America criticizes everybody else for being dirty, but themselves most of the time. America criticizes every leader. They just done it with the Venezuelan guy. They went there, bombed, and then captured him, and now he's in America. You don't hear about him. You don't hear about nothing. Billionaires are the only players that tell you to pick a side, then pit you against one another while they pick your pockets. That's true, Sassimo. You're right. You're right. Billionaires are doing that. But tell me, give me a one in the chat if you think Donald Trump is a gangster, right? A two if no. One in the chat if you think Donald Trump is a gangster. Two if no, right? Because he's two. So two, you don't think he's a gangster. You know the definition of a gangster is? People don't just watch the movies. Do you know the definition of what a gangster is? Look it up. It's not just the movies. The definition of a gangster means they go by their own rules. That's what it is, right? Definition of a gangster is they go by their own rules. And they're con men too. Some gangsters are con men. Gangsters, there's different types of gangsters. That's what people fail to understand. Look up the definition of a gangster, and then you see Trump's picture should come up. Trump's picture should come up when you see the definition, when you go look up the definition of a gangster. It's not a good thing to lead our country. Well, he is leading the country, man. He's leading the country into war and civil war and more. And remember, he doesn't give a shit. This man's what, 79? He's 79 years old, right? So he's thinking, guess what? In 3 more years, which makes him more dangerous, in 3 more years, he'll be like 82, 83 years old. So he's thinking maybe I might die of a heart attack and shit like that. He wants to go out in history the most. It is war. There's economic war going on, people. The war is going on. It's been going on from 2000 or 2000 when the World Trade Centers went down. It's been going on. He's just turning it up right now. He's just turning on the switches. And not just him. There's other people with Trump. It's not just Donald Trump, right? It's not just Donald Trump, people. There's other people with Donald Trump, right? So far, only billionaires have made over 18 trillion for themselves last year. Right. And you guys got to look on it. Besides Obama, besides Biden, right? In the 2000s, they had billionaires as presidents. Bush, billionaire. Trump, billionaire. And guess who Trump got to work with him? Who's the richest man in the world? Elon Musk. Elon Musk was his right hand man, and he's still good with him. Good Lord, what are the basing this on? I'm basing it on that he's a gangster. He's a gangster. So don't be surprised. He's not legit. He's never been legit. And it's not just him who's not been legit. There's other presidents who've not been legit before. I'm just saying what's to come, right? What is to come is more shit. So don't be surprised what's coming, right? Do not be surprised. You said Bush was a billionaire. He wasn't? He didn't have he didn't have oil? I swear this, didn't he own a baseball team? To own a baseball team is like $1 billion. Did he not own a baseball team? Let me look it up. Let me look it up instead of talking now. right? So, which this is really about Trump, but somebody want to talk about what's called. I read books too about Bush, right? George Bush, George Bush. Yeah. So you say he's not a billionaire, George Bush. I swear that's why they said he went into Iraq to get the oil, right? Oh, inside George Bush multi-billion-dollar farm, and he's taking the money from all the oil and put into Qatar Bank in his own account that he runs so far. He puts 1.5 billion from the oil heist. Yes, he's a gangster, people. But someone said George Bush is not a billionaire. Inside George Bush's multi-billion-dollar farm. Okay. Okay. Oil family. You're involved in oil. You're a billionaire. Not millionaire. A billionaire. Oil. Okay. Okay. President Bush, the blah, 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 family makes the money. They've been billionaires for a long time, his whole family. They've been billionaires the whole time, his family, right? They've been billionaires. So that's bullshit what you're saying. Now back to Donald Trump or Donald Trump. Me and my brother calls him Donald Trump. All right? D2E. Respect D2E. And please subscribe, like, comment. Don't be a hater, be a participator, right? Don't be a hater, be a participator. So they may not have billions at the time, but they weren't many billionaires at the time. They definitely are now. Yes. How do you own a baseball team? Correct me if I'm wrong. Most teams is over $1 billion for any sports team. I'm just saying that's Bush. Now Trump the gangster president, is doing gangster business every day. And if you didn't hear me earlier, right after the World Economic Forum, after that speech, what he put out there, and basically saying he could have took over Greenland, but he's not going to do it anymore. And he's saying he's doing them a favor by not taking it. Well, he could take it over. After that, he sent his son-in-law to Russia, his son-in-law and a whole bunch of people to talk to Putin, like kind of like extort, like saying, Putin, stop that shit, what you're doing with the war. He basically said they're stupid for not agreeing. This is true. This is Trump's words. He's saying that Zelensky and Putin are stupid if they don't listen. President was born for this day and age is what it looks like to me. You're right. I agree with that, Dennis. This president was born for this day and age, and it looks, yeah, he was. I believe he's meant to be there. He was put there for this time. He was the owner of the Texas Rangers in the '90s. You're talking about Bush, yes. So how much money does it take to buy a team? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, Bush is a gangster. Bless up, Swamp Side. What you saying? What you saying, man? Talking to your American politics. Some of you may not like it, man. I know you say, yo, you should tap in. I don't know if I put the invite link in this. I might have put the invite link. I'm not sure. But I'm saying that Trump is a gangster. Swamp said, how you feel about Trump? You support Trump? This is a fellow American brother of ours who we talked to, and yo, he said, yo, talk to him if we're talking about American politics. So I'm saying, is Trump a gangster or not? Are you guys scared to talk about him? Because I noticed when he was the president in the beginning, the first term, Snoop Dogg said, fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. You remember that song with, what's his name, YG? Fuck Donald Trump? Now, the second term comes up. He's doing performances for Donald Trump. No, fuck Donald Trump anymore. All the celebrities became silent. Why? Because they know Donald Trump's a gangster. That's what I'm saying. I already read a whole bunch of evidence linking this guy. He's from New York. He's a real estate guy. He was into casinos. He was what, Miss Universe too, even like pimping. He's like a pimp too, right? Right? Kit Kats. Four more people around. So wait a minute. This guy was like a pimp. Was it Miss Universe or Miss America? Didn't this guy say, grab the pussy? You guys forget this shit, this stuff what he said? Didn't he say grab the pussy and shit like that? This guy's raw. Which president have you cut? And this was this is before AI was promoted. Which president do you hear on video saying stuff like that? Grab the pussy, right? One of the charges is a grape charge. One of those 34 charges is a grape charge. And they're saying that he had to pay over $80 million to silence this lady. This is before he became the president, right? One of those charges was allegedly a woman is saying that he raped her. So don't go look that up. And he had to pay 80 million. He can pay the 80 million. He's a billionaire. If you're a billionaire, even 80 million sounds a lot, but he could pay, he's a multi-billionaire too. So he could pay the 80 million and quiet and silence that, right? He could silence it. Do you know who Katie Johnson is? No, let me know. Who's Katie Johnson? Maybe I should look up Katie Johnson. Let me look up who Katie Johnson is. Katie Johnson. I'll get that for you. You guys could have requests what to look up if you want, bad or good. Who is Oh, she's a model. Whoo, I could see. Height, family, and net. Oh, she's a model, American model, advocate, and travel blogger. So, oh, Donald Trump, Katie Johnson allegations. Woo, I could see he would do something with a girl like this. He's a womanizer, yo. So is this the girl who hustled him for his money? The American gangster? That's what I'm saying. He's a gangster, yo. Donald Trump, Katie Johnson allegations, everything we knew. A viral post on social media is circulating a court document with allegations of sexual assault against former President Donald Trump, made in illegal filings that was dismissed almost a decade ago. The post alleges that Trump, right, presumably Republican nominee for this year's presidency, forced young girls to perform lesbian acts and has amassed more than 17 million views. What? I didn't know about that shit. That's all Epstein shit. Damn. That's what they're saying about these Epstein files. I didn't know about that. Look up how many families of children he settled out of court in the 70s, 80s, and 90s when his hush money was good. But you have to look up old newspapers. I just looked up something recently of him, and it's talking about how allegedly he forced he forced. Okay, let me read this again. The Post alleges that Trump, the Republican nominee for this year's presidential election, forced young girls to perform lesbian sex acts. Da 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 da. And he said, grab the pussy and shit like that, you know. Whoo, there's more. But X is very controversial. Some people say don't fake news. Remember, he put out fake news. This is Donald Trump. He says fake news, reverse psychology, right? So some X users appear to believe that the document is a recent filing. The post was shared after 150 pages of transcripts related to 2006 grand jury investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's rape and sex trafficking of teenagers, what was released to the public on Monday. This Jeffrey Epstein thing keeps haunting and haunting and haunting and haunting, yo. Woo! Yo, this is the gangster president you have, man. That's why it's dark times in America. This guy's gonna do anything to take the attention off of him and those old stories, right? That's your president. It's easy to find on YouTube. Yes, I found it. Stop the cap. So you tell me these stories, what people are talking about with Epstein and Donald Trump is cap? Is it fake what he said when he said grab the pussy? Is that fake? Is it fake about the 34 charges? Is that fake? I want to know, people. Tell me. Tell me if I'm like just talking, because it says another version of the lawsuit was filed in June, but reportedly withdrawn months later. Of course, he's a billionaire, right? He's a billionaire, right? Months later, a third version of the suit with a plaintiff going by Jane Doe was filed in September 2016, accusing Trump of rape. That suit was also dropped months later. Holy, he's a billionaire. Remember that. The suits were dropped time over time. And I told you this man's a gangster president. He knows how to extort people. He's been working. He has friends in high places. He can intimidate people and pay people off. He's a billionaire. Okay. Nope, you can go to the NYC courts and look up the rap sheets and Trump's clan. Yep, fake felonies. Of course, the false allegations got withdrawn. Oh, so you're saying it's false. You're saying it's fake news, but then people accuse other people and say it's true, right? He could so whatever Trump says is real. And he says fake news. So you believe Trump. Oh God, yo. Yo, I have to give Trump it, man. He said one thing. He said about Americans, he disrespected Americans before he fully became the president. He says Americans will believe anything they see on TV. And that's one reason he became Republican, right? Which is, doesn't he know how to extort people and get away with things, or is he convinced he's a convicted felon to make up your mind, people? People are brainwashed. Yes, yes, D2E. Somebody didn't go read those files. Yes, if he's good at anything, is being impervious to breaking the law. Yes, Donald Duck. Yes, yes, D2E. He knows how to break the law. He says American people will believe anything. What do you guys think about that? He said this on television. He will sacrifice his own son. He only calls him Melania's son. Phew. The Democrats threw everything at him and nothing stuck. Yeah, right? How many times was Michael Jackson accused? He was accused many times and they still think he's guilty. Even though they didn't have full proof, people still think he's guilty, right? But there's all this allegations against Donald Trump, and all the stories are withdrawn, withdrawn, withdrawn. This man is a billionaire. Remember, if you have money in America, you could almost get off anything, right? You could get off anything. Even O.J. Simpson, even though that's controversial, the only reason O.J. Simpson got off because he got money. That's the only reason O.J. Simpson got off, because he got money. If O.J. Simpson was a broke brother, he would have been locked up for that murder. So money talks and bullshit walks, right? Things that did stick is supporters claim are fake. Money talks, bullshit walks. Yes, man. Come on, people. Don't be fooled by this guy, man. Don't be fooled. He's causing destruction. He's making Americans be hated all around the world. Now it's dangerous for you to take a vacation in certain places of the world, America. You're safe in America, yes. You are safe in America. But if you're an American who wants to travel and you believe in his values, you're in danger. You are in danger, especially in Mexico. If you have money, you can buy your freedom and be guilty. It's true. Wonder if OJ and Trump ever golfed together. Probably. Now, for example, who wrote Trump a letter recently saying he wants his freedom? A big guy they accuse of sex trafficking and shit called Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. He didn't grant him any freedom because it'll look too bad to be associated with him. And Puff Daddy's from New York. And him and Puff Daddy used to have a good relationship and talk, right? So Mr. Diddy wrote a letter to Trump recently asking for him to pardon him. Trump didn't pardon him. He didn't pardon him because he doesn't want that shit. How many criminals did he pardon so far? Trump did pardon a couple of people. He had pardoned a lot, especially the celebrity ones. A couple rappers, which normally, if it wasn't Trump, they would have been locked up for a long time. So this is my proof that he's a gangster president. Kodak Black, I think he was involved in something really bad, right? And he got pardoned. I think Little Wayne was involved with something with drugs, like a drug conviction. He got pardoned. Like there's celebrities who have um, criminal backgrounds who he pardoned. Rappers. Some of these guys are rappers, and that's why you're not hearing any of them talk against Donald Trump, right? So anybody who talks against him as a celebrity, you're a target. You are a big target. He will look. Don't be surprised. You will probably be in prison, and they'll dig something up on you, right? So he's a gangster, right? Right now, he's looking for one of the biggest drug cartel associates, right? And he's from Canada. He's a Canadian, sorry to say. Ryan Wedding. He accuses Canada of supplying a lot of drugs to America with this guy who's they're saying is in South America. That's the real reason what popped off the whole Venezuela thing. I hope people know. No, I'm not for any pardons. Nope, I'm not for any pardons. So are you for pardons? No. Of the January 6ers, the pardon 33 have been arrested. Yes, yes. But one of the biggest drug lords in the world is a Canadian. And for about a month ago there was a big FBI conference, right? With some Canadian law enforcement and American law enforcement, and they brought this guy up who was an ex-Olympic guy, right? Olympic snowboarder, and saying he's the one of the biggest problems for America and is responsible in bringing tons of drugs into America. And he's hiding in South America right now. And he's been working with the cartels for years. So the one of the main reasons he went down to South America is to get this guy. This guy just posted 2 days ago, kind of trying to poke fun at the American authorities that they can't find him. Ryan Wedding, look it up. Ryan Wedding's former Olympic snowboarder turned into El Chapo. North, you're right. Yes, yes. How much people know about that? And how much people know about, my friend was telling me about, um, there's a name for it, about what was going on in Chicago. Just look it up. He's doing gangster business, Trump. He learned from back in the days from his being around gangsters, how to get other gangsters, how to take out other gangsters. He's the biggest gangster, right? Something called Project Fast and Furious. Let me look it up. Project Fast and Furious. Anybody know about that in the chat? Anybody know about Project Fast and Furious? Do you know about that? Project Fast and Furious. My friend was telling me about that. I know about it, but I want to really get the details of it, right? Yeah, he's a monster. So, Project Fast and Furious. Okay, now, this is what it is. That's why I say Trump is a gangster and he's lying to the American people. Now, ATF gun walking scandal. October 20. Okay, let's look up this. US guns, Obama kept guns. Project Fast and Furious basically is linking, right? Um, these guys who went to in Chicago, they're saying they're Venezuelans, was kicking out or people out of their apartments, American citizens, and taking them over for the drugs operation. And these guys were from Venezuela. They're saying they're these Venezuelan gangs, right? Venezuelan gangs, and that's when ICE was known more to me. That's when ICE, Project Fast and Furious Armada for workshop. They're trying to cover this shit up, but it was out there. See, it was on social media too. Project Operation Fast and Furious, Forgotten History. The name is okay. Let's see if I could see it right now. Oh damn, they're trying to cover this shit up. Damn, I don't think I should even look into this shit. Whoo. ATF isn't bad. Oh no, no. I'm not even gonna look this shit up, man. No, 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 no. Pizza Gate and all types of shit. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I just got into some big shit right here, yo. Woo. No, no. Uh-uh. It says get first access to no, 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 no. I'm not going into this shit. But what Project Fast and Furious is these guys is they're saying it's the government, but it's a mixture. There's Venezuelans in Chicago, and they were, I guess, extorting or kicking out people out of their apartments. It was online. You could Google it up. And then now they're in Venezuela, right? They blame Venezuela for the drugs, right? In Chicago, the reason they got El Chapo because there's a link to Chicago. They're saying that a lot of the cocaine or the drugs that was coming into Chicago was coming from some cartels. This is fact, right? I'm gonna walk away. Them, no, I say Trump will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents of all time. Of course, they're gonna say that. They're gonna say Trump has gone down in history as one of the best presidents. Black man supporting Trump. No, I don't support Trump. You probably haven't been here, man. I'm saying Trump's a gangster. No, the only thing I support of Trump is that the only thing I support of Trump is that he's raw and unfiltered, and he's giving you what he thinks on his head. He's not lying like these other leaders have before. He's being himself. He's not lying. That's what I respect about him. That's it. Because Obama, everybody was, oh, Obama, black president. Oh, Obama, the black president. Guess what that man was doing? He was doing a lot of shit too, what wasn't good. And a lot of black people, they didn't like him because they said he didn't do nothing for black people in America. Mr. Obama, did you fall for that shit? Huh? BK advocate, did you fall for that? Let me see. Yeah, he is a cornball. He is a cornball. Did you guys fall for that Obama shit? Because what happened is they needed Obama after Bush. They needed a guy to clean it up, to calm down the people, because revolution was happening. People were starting to talk and look shit up. So they got the black guy to say, oh, finally a black guy is the president. And yo, America's really fair. Anybody could be the president now, right? Guy barely speaks English. ICE needs to come get him. Who that barely speaks English? Where are you from, Sefi 48030? Where are you from? ICE is not coming nowhere. Where are you from? Where are you from? Which part? Respect to some of my American brothers and sisters, but there's some places you should not talk. They can't even speak uh, properly, right? Trump was questioning Obama about where he was from. Yes, he was. Trump was questioning Obama. He questions everybody. He questions everybody, Trump, right? ICE needs Cone for him instead to come for him instead. Remember, I'm going to tell you guys something, right? Canada, UK, especially UK, let me say the UK, England, right, is where America gets their language from, right? America gets their language from England. They don't, it's English. Canada gets their language from England. Jamaica gets their language from England. So unless you are a dummy or uneducated, I know you understand what I'm saying. I'm not speaking Ebonics, right? And the Jamaican Old English and the UK English is proper English, right? A lot of people from America don't even speak proper English. Respect to you guys, but a lot of them don't, right? Canada is, yeah, and French, yes. Yes, Canada is French. I know that. I'm just talking to the people who are talking about Canadian English. I'm talking about those people. Since you say moron, wait, I think I put you on a timeout. I think some people forget I could do that for dummies like you, right? So, can I take their language from England and France? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm a grandma now, so how many generations is that? What do you mean, how many generations? Where are you from again? I didn't get that. Right? So, like I'm saying, this guy's a gangster. His own wife is an immigrant, people. His own wife, and then he's questioning other people. That's why I'm saying the definition of a gangster is people who do have make their own rules. That's what it is. Truth only 77. Okay. You guys have your thing going back and forth. But yeah, like Trump's own wife, new wife, he had a couple of wives too, right? Is not even American. So it's kind of hypocritical. Is he gonna, all you people saying about deport this and deport that, is he gonna deport his own wife? All his wives weren't even American. Which, wait, you guys, the ones who love Trump, which of Trump's wife is a full-blooded American? Tell me, one of you people in the chat, which one of Trump's wives are American? Without immigrants, Trump wouldn't have any wives. Do you see how dumb some of you guys sound talking, trying to reply and all this shit? You sound stupid because what this person just said. Without the immigrants, Trump would not have any wives. They all were immigrants. So what are you saying? You brainwashed? You have sense? Trump always been dealing with people who are not from America. He has a lot of investments out of America. All his wives are not American. This is a so if he was disrespecting Obama, saying he's not American, but his own wives he had married are not American, and he buried one of them on his golf course. This guy's a gangster. When I say gangster president, it's for real. Yo, if you can't take the heat, come out of the kitchen. It's reality when I'm speaking. Reality is what I'm speaking. Trump's a gangster. If you weren't here for the hour I've been on, you missed it. Unless you want me to do a review of all his connections and people over the years he's been with, associated with. The man's a billionaire. He has things in Las Vegas. He made hotels. He's been dealing with labor unions, what are linked with mafia figures. One of his good friends is Giuliani from New York, who locked up tons of mafia guys. Um, he knows how to play tough. He knows how to extort. He has learned. And do you know who Trump's father is? Do you know who Trump's daddy is? And who Trump's father worked with? You want me to look up Donald Trump's daddy? It will show some dark stuff, I guarantee. I guarantee if I look up Donald Trump's daddy, it'll show some gangster stuff, right? Donald Trump's dad, right? Donald Trump's dad. We are native and Mexican. You're right. You're right. Respect to you. So we are not illegal. You're right. But they just changed up the definition. Trump needs to stop profiling people because the color of their skin and language. But what the problem with that, Vil Betran, I'm trying to say your name right. The problem with that is they created a system, and America has taken over places what used to be part of Mexico and made it America. So when they cut that border, and then where Mexico is within their laws is now, if you come to America without going through the processes, you are illegal, right? So that's just the system they made up. So Trump's father is Fred Trump, Frederick Christ Trump Sr., October 11th, 1905, June 25th, died 1999. I didn't know he died 1999. Was an American real estate developer and a businessman. He was the father of Donald Trump, 45th and 47th president of the United States, along with four other children born in the Bronx. So this man has a history, his father, right? I could look it up to show you he's a gangster too, right? The trick is to not let immigrants change their country like it has in England, UK. There's got to be a better way of doing it. Yeah, he has a way of doing it. You know what he put out one time? He says, maybe you could stay in America as an immigrant or illegal if you register with us and do free labor. They'll give you housing, but you're not going to get paid. They'll give you housing and maybe like some food, like food stamps, but it's like a new age slavery. That's what he was trying to talk. I don't know if you guys remember, this guy talked a lot of shit, Trump. So he wanted to introduce a system that maybe some of the people will keep in America, but you guys have to work free. Yes, it sounds like slavery. Yeah, yeah. He was talking that for real, right? He was talking that for real shit. You're saying, yo, maybe we could keep some of these people, but because they need people to do labor, like you kick out a lot of these Mexican people or South American people. Who's gonna do the gardens in California? Who's gonna be doing some of the landscaping and shit like that in California? You lose a whole job sector, right? So, yeah, they probably are covering up stuff about his father, but guarantee he learned a lot from his daddy, right? And his daddy told him about a lot of people who to avoid and how to control shit. Do you think Barron Trump is going to take over after his father and get into politics? Trump has a lot of sons, right? Trump has a lot of sons. Barron's the youngest one. Worry about the other guys. I think there's three or four of them, and then he has a daughter, right? Have you heard about Central Park 5? Yes. See, that's why I say he's a gangster. He accused those guys of doing heinous acts and I think murder. Look up the documentary. I don't think people look and want to do research. They don't want to read. They just are in their emotions. They just want to talk. The Central Park 5, and then they were released, innocent, released, spent many years in prison, and he was behind the influence of that. These gentlemen got locked up for years. So, yes, Donald Trump's a gangster. Yes, he is. A big gangster. He doesn't care. Hurts their brains doing research. Yes. Much respect for subscribing, Joseph Josephus. Yes, it hurts the brains to do research. That's why Donald Trump said how you could fool Americans. Television. This man is an actor. That's another thing. I always talk about this. Me and my brother from D2E talk about this. The man started off as a real estate man, a businessman, and then you saw him in Hollywood. Before he was ever being any president, what did he have a show? You're fired. Didn't he have a show like that? The Apprentice? You're fired. He's been in Hollywood movies. He's been in wrestling. So that's why he got some of you guys emotional because you remember, oh, Donald Trump, man, he is so cool, man. He was in so much movies I watched growing up. He was in wrestling. Oh, damn, that reality show I was watching, You're Fired. I love that shit. And Miss America, oh, or whatever pageant shit, I love that shit. So of course people love Donald Trump too in America. He has 77 million people who voted for him or so, right? He created his own meme coin and made billions from suckers buying it, coin and dumping it on everybody. That's true. It's true. He made up his own like coin, man. This man is like Caesar and shit, man. This man's an actor. He said it. Why dummy? People are so dumb that they don't want to go do research. And he got shoes too. Have you ever heard that Trump had a replica? Yes, of the Ark of the Covenant of gold in the White House for a while before he gave it to Israel. Yo, that's some conspiracy theory type of shit. I wouldn't be surprised. And for the people who believe that Trump is so American. Now, is people put the allegations? Isn't Trump working with Israel? Isn't the story? Isn't he so good? Like Israel could bomb away, and America don't say anything about that shit. They accuse America of being with Israel. Pro-Americans, do you support Israel? Do you support it? Trump isn't Christian, but he'll sell you a Bible though. And he claims he went all the way to Nigeria, right? He went all the way to Nigeria to protect Christians. That's why he bombed down there. So that's what he's saying. So, gangster. They said this man, with not even a year, he went to 7 or more countries and bombed them without the United Nations, without saying anything. Just who does that? What kind of man does that? That's a gangster. What kind of man does that type of stuff? And if you don't question that, to me, you're a dummy. If you ain't question his actions, you are a dummy. Straight up, you don't do no research. Which president have you seen just not say, well, there's been actually, let me correct myself. There's actually been 2 presidents who've done similar shit. They have done it, but not like Trump. Like Obama just went after in Pakistan, bombed there and got Osama bin Laden, so called. And Clinton went into what's called Somalia and Black Hawk Down, if you know what he done, right? So how much of you guys do your research? I do my research. This is stuff I knew before the internet. This is stuff I talked to with my father, he's about the same age almost as Trump, right? This is stuff I've talked to with older people. I'm not influenced by my age group. I've talked to older individuals who have knowledge, who've been around before me, about guys like this, about the world. Like, you know how people love basketball or they like music and shit? From a young age, I was learning about politics and about people like Donald Trump. I knew about Donald Trump a long time ago. I just wasn't on social media. I've read books from all types of places in the world. I could tell you about other characters and shit. Same thing with Gaddafi. You're saying Gaddafi was a hero to Africa. He was going to unite Africa. That man was a gangster. I don't support that shit, Gaddafi. He was a gangster. He didn't like black people, Gaddafi, right? So I could talk about not just Trump, anybody else. And I will have episodes of other characters besides Mr. Donald Trump. But he's the news of the day. He's the biggest character right now, what people want to hear about. I'll be straight up. You could talk about any celebrity in the world right now. People don't give a shit. They don't care. Did you see how we was able to go over to Saudi Arabia and Dubai and walk around like boss? Yep. He even touched the prince who nobody ever supposed to touch and then smiled about it because he's gangster. Have you read The Creature from Jack? What? Are you mean Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Jekyll? Right? They do a lot of dirt, man. There's a lot of dirt. No, I haven't read that one. But the man's a gangster. He doesn't give a shit. You seen what he said about the I think it was some politician, this lady who was it Kenya? Oh, you're so beautiful. He said that in front of his wife. The man was talking nice about this black woman from, I think it was Kenya. Oh, you're so beautiful. The man was on television, basically, like, he was trying to pick up the lady, yo. He was trying to pick up the lady. How does his wife feel about that shit? Now, that's what I mean. He's a gangster. Look up Let me go look up the definition of a gangster because episode is called Donald Trump, the Gangster President, right? Donald Trump I call him Donald Trump. Me and my brother call him Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump. Definition of a gangster. What is that, people? You could all Google it and you see what it means, right? The dictionary meaning of a gangster. What is the history of word gangster? Gangster came into English language at the later portion of the 19th century as one of what is now a large parcel of words which have been formed by adding. I don't want to read that shit. This is American style trying to change. change it up. Let me go back to the real meaning of the gangster business. Okay, assassin, hoodlum, racketeer, bandit, robber, ruffian, thug, tough, desperado, outlaw. That sounds American. Villain, lawbreaker. That sounds like what Trump's been doing. Criminal, murderer, assassin, terror. No, no. Let's go back. What it really means. Gangster, English meaning Cambridge. Okay, a gangster. Informally, gangster is a criminal who is a member of a gang, right? A party, right? Most gangs are considered to be part of an organized crime. Gangsters are also called mobsters, a term derived from mob or suffix. Gangs provide a level of organization and resources that support much large and more complex criminal transactions than an individual criminal could achieve. Gangsters have been active for many years. Wait, right? Many years. A lot of that describes what Trump's been doing for a long time, right? Idiots act gangster to hide their stupidity. Some people don't even act a certain way. You have to investigate them. Some of the most deadliest guys who have done all types of stuff and a lot of illegal shit. The real gangsters don't make you know, like they hide, they look legit. That's the whole definition of organized crime. Real gangsters don't promote that they're gangster. They don't say they're gangsters. Even the mafia, it's supposed to be a secret society. These guys don't want you to say know what they're doing. Felon Trump is the greatest of blowing horses and named Bubba. Yeah, they don't want you to know what they're doing. Gangsters, real gangsters. The guys who promote it, that's those guys are like Hollywood, right? They're Hollywood. The federal definition of gangsters. Let's see what is it. No, that's a government definition of gangsters, right? The origin of the word gangster, right? The word gangster originated in American English. Let me read that again, people. The word gangster originated in American English around 1896. It derived from the word gang, which refers to a group of criminals, combined with the suffix indicating a member of a group. Earlier known use of gangster dates back to 1800s, which first extension recorded in 1884. So it goes back a long time. And who were these gangsters? Where did they come from? Wasn't there the Irish mafia before the Italian mafia? There was Jewish mafia too, right? And where was the biggest mafias started? New York. Gaddafi gangster, but despite being evil dictator, he also improved living standards in Libya during the reign. He used oil money to fund infrastructure and programs. I'll come back to you about that, Pablo. The Creature from Jekyll Island is about Federal Reserves not being a government agency, but yes, you're right. Banking cartel for private members that cause inflation, creating awards. You're right. Yes, thanks for that, Sasimo 529. Okay, he said Gaddafi done good. So maybe he done good for some people, right? But near the end of his rule, Gaddafi, news was coming out, and this could just be propaganda, but I believe it because Morocco, I seen something the other day and around those countries that black people were slaves and treated like shit in Libya, right? They're treated like shit in Libya, so I don't support Gaddafi. I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. No, no, you didn't offend. I don't know who you offend, but I'm just saying that Gaddafi's no angel. Gaddafi, I heard there's slavery going on in Libya, and right now they don't like black people in Libya. You seen I Show Speed in Morocco the other day? They were throwing shit at him and stuff like that. He was at a soccer game and they were throwing shit at this guy, the biggest streamer in the world, right? So those people down there, right? Respect to them, not all of them, but those people from North Africa, you know what I'm talking about. They don't really like black people too much and shit like that, right? But back to Trump. Some people will say Trump's a racist. All right. I don't think Trump is a because the definition of a racist is someone who could afford not to associate basically with anybody but themselves. That's what I believe, right? I think Trump's more of a bigot. So Trump will deal with you even if you're black or whatever color, as long as you have the money, right? And he may say crazy shit about other cultures, but I really don't think he's an orthodox racist, if we want to call it like that. I think he's more of a bigot. He's an opportunist and he's a narcissist. So that's what he is. So anybody, oh, Catwalk, you came in, eh? I haven't seen you for a while. I put I was put on timeout. Oh, sorry for what I said. Okay, you were put on timeout. There's a lot of people tapping in. Just bring the knowledge, man, and I don't do that timeout stuff. Like Hulk Hogan. Okay, Hulk Hogan. He praised Hulk Hogan. If you guys know about Hulk Hogan's controversy, he that came out on video. Mm. He supported Hulk Hogan, but that guy banning and all that. Like I'm saying, man, he's just using his gangster tactics he grew up around, what he learned through his rise of power for the world, right? He's a Russian asset. Russia knew exactly how stupid and reliable he is. Yes, yes. A blittering moron. Yes, DL. You are right. You are right. A blittering moron. He's no gangster. Why is he no gangster? We call these rappers gangsters. Of course he's a gangster. We're calling these little rappers, oh, they're gangsters and shit like that. Of course he's a gangster. He does whatever he wants. He has his he's the evolution of a gangster. He's the evolution what you got to do to extort people. He's extorting countries now. That's what he's doing. He's extorting countries, and he's locking people up. Yes, of course he is, and he's stopping the money flow from those people in Minnesota. He has stopped them and locked some of them up. Right now, we're going to February now. A whole bunch of them got deported already. A whole bunch of people, and more is coming. Right? Did you see my comment about Epstein Island? Yes. And I looked up something regarding him and a past sexual allegation. Right? He has no guardrails. Yes, he has no guardrails. He doesn't give a damn, people. He don't care about anything, people. He is what was to come. I'm not surprised. He's put there. And if you look up, there's a book, right, called The Last President. My friend was telling me about that. That ties into him having the Ark. Yes, you're saying something about the Ark in the White House or something like that in Israel. Um, there's something called The Last President. Anybody read that book? Anybody read that book about the last president? Saying that Trump is going to basically be the last president. He's a fucking orange savage. Divided population, US. You probably have a lot to say. I wish he can't even control his bowels, much less his enemies. Yeah, I heard he's wearing a diaper. Off topic. But what is your three favorite gangster movies? One, okay, I'm gonna give you, since I'm saying definition of a gangster. Okay. I grew up, okay, before I answer that, three of my favorite uh, gangster movies, I grew up around Italians, so I know a lot of Italians too. So one of my favorite gangster movies is a black gangster movie, actually, and it's with Wesley Snipes, New Jack City. And then if you're saying the traditional gangster movie, there's a lot of them. Casino is one of them. Casino, and there's a lot of most of all the gangster movies I like. I've been watching them. Goodfellas. Most gangster movies I've watched. All of them. Yeah, Trump's a real OG. So I would say, yeah, Goodfellas, um, New Jack City. I like Scarface, but that's those guys are more like, what do you call it, drug cartel shit. But there's one more. You know the Godfather movie? I never really liked those movies, the Godfather movies, even though they're known to be one of the biggest ones. But it was Casino, Goodfellas, and New Jack City. Shaft, yeah, yeah, Shaft is good. Shaft is good. Denzel Washington played the best gangster, American Gangster. A lot of people saying that was kind of fictional. Some of it was, a lot of it was fiction. Well, not all of it was fictional, but That movie, I know about the real, that real story of what he was playing and shit like that. Yeah. Goodfellas, that was a good one. Yeah, Goodfellas is one. And yo, Trump likes these movies. I guarantee you ask Trump what some of his favorite movies, he might not want to say in public. He probably watches the most gangster shit. This guy. He's going out of a character, man. He loves this shit. He loves it. Trump is a fat orange Sasquatch who hides in the woods. Yeah. You really hate Trump. What do you think about the ICE divided population? Trump is a fat, let me read that again. Trump is a fat orange Sasquatch who hides them in the woods. Yeah. Yo, but you know what? People, don't be surprised what he's gonna do next. I know what he's gonna do next. If it gets really bad in America, forget around the world. If it gets bad in America, he will put down martial law, right? Martial law and take away people's rights. They were already playing with the digital ID. They've been playing with digital ID, right? And that's why they're doing the filtration of deporting people and kicking them out so he can know whoever's in America. The Warrior is funny, but yeah, I watched that one, but kind of represents the flamboyancy of the later greaser gangs. Yeah, you're right. I'll hate this guts. Sorry, bro. He's so fake and failed time after time. Yeah, yeah. But you know what I find? As much as he does all this gangster shit and hate, a lot of Americans love him. I can't deny that. A lot of Americans love Trump. They support him. 77 million people voted for this guy. Don't forget. And I'm not surprised. This guy been on television for over 40 years. He's been a man in the media. He's been a guy that people used to watch on television. He had a show called The Apprentice. He had a show called The Apprentice, right? And you know what? Bro, you need to stop. You sound like 10 years rumors of talk about. Listen, Catwalk, you know what I'm talking about. You always are jumping in here all the time, right? And I don't know if you're American or Canadian, but like I said, it's not just Americans talking shit. A lot of Canadians are talking shit too. A lot of Canadians, when some of you Americans thinking all Canadians are together, no, a lot of Canadians love Trump too. A lot of them. A lot of them. What do you say about Jamaica? Let me see. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You are left over from Jamaica and now you are here. I never came over here, wherever you're talking about. You can't even go to Europe and talk anything. Man, Catwalk, I'll put you on the timeout. Your nonsense don't make no sense at all. Now you lost. Now you're gone. One of my biggest supporters, Catwalk. Now you were gone. Listen, you come on here with any bullshit and you're bringing up Jamaica, and I'm going to tell you where I'm born is in Canada. I'm born. I don't know. I know about Jamaica from family members, but I'm born up here. Born and raised, right? Catwalk, born and raised. So I can't get deported. I cannot get deported. And Trump is comes from an immigrant background too. Trump comes from an immigrant background. So this one, dime something, you get put out too. It's so easy to put you on timeout, right? MAGA and ICE are here to stick to better recognize America. You think so, Paul Warner? Trump is the GOAT. You see, people do. I can tell you we're from Toronto by the accent. Yeah, at least you're sensible. At least you're sensible, Pablo. You have sense. Joseph, apparently the art of the deal is a claim of a bunch of outrageous shit. They back down and take anything they can get. Mm. So wait, what's his name? Respect to Pablo. He has sense. He's educated. He could tell where I'm from. At least he could tell where I'm from. Right? There's a lot of ignorant people in there, man. You could obviously, you know, recognize recognize things, right? So yeah, you support Trump. Nothing's wrong. If you want to support Trump, you could support Trump. I'm not gonna say don't support Trump. I do like I said, it's unpopular, and some of you are talking all this shit, right? I support him getting rid of illegals. Fuck is up with that? I support him getting rid of illegal people. My parents came to Canada legally, paying to come to Canada. They didn't come as refugees. They had to work and educate themselves, right? Came to Canada long time ago, bought a house, right? I'm not gonna gloat like some people. Bought a house, probably more than some of you idiots who are trying to say some bullshit about me right now. Bought a house, what is probably none of you guys would ever see a house like that. Yeah. And own property in Jamaica still. Yeah. Oh yeah. Slovenia gets visas for that, while Bosnia and Macedonia and Montenegro lose it. In Canada, yeah, it is kind of controversial right now because they're giving out Carney's getting kind of strict too. I'm not going to say that, but they're giving out visas to certain type of people. But yeah, Carney has to deal with Trump a certain way because Trump is a gangster. Nobody likes line jumpers. You're right. I support what you're saying. And people might say, oh, you said you Magna, right? MAGA, right? I support that. I like a lot of his moves with the military, but his ego is inflated. So don't get it twisted, people. As much as I say Trump's a gangster, he's doing certain things what are legal. He's saying that if you're illegal, listen to the word illegal. Illegal. That means you're breaking the law. So if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. You got to go home. Legal pathways to American citizenship. You're right. There are so many legal pathways to American citizenship. You're right, critical. All those countries used to be one country, though. Slovenia was the same nation as Bosnia. You're right. But listen, Trump is the boss right now. He's the boss in America. He's making the rules in America, even if you say it's illegal. He's not going by no rules. Like I was telling my father this, and we have debates too, right? I'm saying he said all types of bad shit about Trump, and I said, yo, this man, he has the power, no matter what you're saying, and he's not going by no rules. But the system is innocent until proven guilty. Removing due process is guilty until proven innocent. And Trump is just doing his own shit. I love your platform because you just talk common sense. Much respect, Joseph. Don Lemon says crime isn't illegal. You know what's going to happen to Don Lemon? He better shut up. Don Lemon better shut his ass. That's all I gotta say. There are so many reasons why people need to come in the right way. I agree with you, Paul Warner. You support Trump. I agree with that. So I'm not biased. I'm not like these other biased platforms. We're not like that. I agree 100% with you. Not everything with what Trump does, but I agree with that. And you're saying, Don Lemon, you better be quiet. Talking about Trump, you better be silent, buddy. You better be quiet if you talk about Trump. Because Trump is gonna dig something up on you, Don Lemon. I see that guy talking. He's mad because of he changed the sexual whatever orientation laws and shit like that. Right? I'm independent. I understand why people are more right. Yes, yes. That's some bias outright. What's bias outright? All I know, Don Lemon he's talking all these things. I know Nicki Minaj had some beef with him and shit. He's mad that Nicki Minaj is supporting Trump and shit. So he said something bad about her, and then he said something bad about. He's saying something bad about Trump. I think he brought up something like some allegations against Trump. Yo, Don, you're a media guy and he's watching you, Mr. Trump. He watches everybody, but you're in America, Don. You are in America. Good luck to you. That's all I gotta say, man. Good luck to you. Trump already called him an idiot, right? John Don. It's Don Lemon, man. Whatever his name is, man. It's up for you. It's up for you. But people, please subscribe to the platform. You could give me ideas what topics you want me to talk about. I'm like that, open minded on topics you want me to talk about, or anything. If you are a person who's educated, I will invite you. If you even have more knowledge than me, I welcome that. I welcome you to be a guest and tell me what you know. I welcome that. I'm not like these other people who just want all, the say all and end all. If you have knowledge of something, it could be, and people might say it's ignorant, whatever. I welcome it. I want to hear your voice, right? It's down to earth, right? That's what it is. Right now, someone's trying to say something bad right now, but that message is held. I'm telling you guys the info. I like this channel. You have common sense, respects Paul Warner. Yes, of course, illegal is illegal. That's common sense. So why are these people fighting against this shit? Like, and I see in America, I'm seeing, the people, ICE is taking all these people and they're gonna deport them and shit like that. If you were legal, you wouldn't run. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't have nothing to be afraid of. My high intellect wouldn't imitate you. No, I mean it wouldn't. Yeah, yeah. I just subscribe. Much respect, right? I have plenty, but I don't think it's welcome here. Yes, it's welcome here to ruin your day. No, 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 no. It is welcome. Trust me. No due process. It's welcome, man. Trust me. If you watch other episodes, and it's not just me, I got my brother, and I got my other associates. Um, we talk some real down to earth stuff like this and more. Yeah, it's not just me. I got we got a whole camp of people be detained. I should be detained to go to court. Just picking someone up and deporting them is guilty. No, if you're not legal in, no, you fucking are getting deported straight up. If you're not legal in, you're getting deported. That's illegal shit, straight up. Let me read this again. You should be detained and go to court. Just picking someone up, deporting them. If they have the evidence and the paperwork, hopefully they get the paperwork. Whatever. They shouldn't just take anybody off the street. But if you're protesting, guess what? You put yourself out there in the spotlight. My family was saved by Soviets, like I said. Y'all ain't into it. That's different. They're not even looking for you. That's a different. See, that's another story. They're not even looking for you right now. The stereotype is they're looking for dark individuals, people from Somalia or Africa. They ain't looking for any white Russians who are illegal in America right now, unless they hear your accent. I guarantee they ain't looking for you, right? So that's a different story, right? So they ain't looking for you. You must prove that in court. Okay, they could prove it. They brought a lady to court. I seen a clip. They proved it, right? And they said she was doing all these illegal stuff. Remember, they already have people on a list. 1990, they brought temporary protective what persons or some shit like that from Somalia, right? As refugees. It was temporary. It's called temporary protective status. Correct me if I'm wrong. And because this guy came in now and he digged it up, now he's deporting them. It's called temporary. Are you pro Trump? Are you claim? No, I'm not pro Trump. I'm not pro Trump. No, no, no. I'm just a realist. Racist is racist. Don't you like that word? Racist, a real racist. The definition of a racist, you can't even. You got to have money to be a real racist. Because the definition of a racist, because I was saying definition of a gangster, right? um, Definition of a racist: you don't eat from people you don't like, you don't live where people you don't like, and to do that you're going to have a community that could afford to be independent to live like that. So most people are confused with bigots and racists. A bigot will be somebody who lives right next to the person but doesn't like them and will say all these stuff what people claim are racist, but you still will live next to them. You'll go eat in McDonald's from a black person, for example, and then you'll say certain stuff, but you're eating from them. Think of it. You don't like these people, but you're eating from them and taking services from them. A real racist, right? will not depend on people. The Ku Klux Klan, is bad and shit that people have claimed what they have done, um, they are saying the same shit what I just said, right? So those are real racists. Those guys don't want to live and participate in anything with other culture. They want to live independently. So those are real racists. If you don't like they have been harassing my black friends about it. Whole families have been American longer than anyone. Yeah, now they're going after every American. Yes. Now ICE is going after every American. It's an excuse, and I said this over and over again. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to fill you guys in. The ICE is not just for deporting people who are illegals. Now it's to get money. That's what this guy's a gangster. He's it's to get money. So this is what the ICE is for. If you owe child support, if you have a warrant for your arrest, if you owe IRS and they look up your name and you're a born American citizen, you're a born American citizen. Now they got you, and maybe you might have to work for them as a spy, and then they will say, "Oh, right." We won't take you in. But guess what? I know, John, that you owe $12,000 of child support, and if you don't pay the $12,000 of child support, and or be a rat for us, then we're gonna lock you up. If you owe the IRS, Miss Johnson, um, if you don't rat for us, we're gonna lock you up. So they're going to everybody now. I don't need to be American. Stop saying that. That's the dumbest shit. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. You don't need to be American to know what's going on. Stop that. Dirt, bruh. If the let me put you in timeout because I don't think you know I could put people in timeout for 30 minutes. Then you're gone. Disappear. Where are you? Where are you? You sound dumb, whatever your name is. You're a damn fool. But you guys listen to Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is not American. He's an American citizen, right? Elon Musk, you guys listen to. Sandman 36. 14th Amendment says all people of U.S. soil does not specify where they are from, just that they are on U.S. soil. Okay. They call me a racist because I'm MAGA, but I'm married to a beautiful black woman. So she's listen, listen what Paul's just saying. He's at least North American, is not a Caribbean American too. If I heard properly, double American, just not USA. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. You're talking about Elon Musk. He's not. He's born in what's called Africa. He's born in South Africa. South Africa. He's born. He's from South Africa, and he has a history. He has a story too. And his mother's Canadian. I think his mother's Canadian. No. Is his mother Canadian? Yeah, his mother's Canadian. Yeah. Elon Musk is half Canadian. He went to a Canadian university. I think it was the University of Kingston. I could look it up. He's Canadian too. That's why he's talking about Canada, Mr. Trump, right? Paul Warner, nah, I don't think you're racist. I think you're easily manipulated. Why? Why is he manipulated? Didn't people vote for Obama? I didn't. I didn't make no one fool me, and a lot of black people in America did not get fooled either by Obama being the president. Well, Queen's University, Kingston, yes, Queen's University. When he said MAGA, right? He could vote for. Listen, don't make this party shit fool you, man. Don't make this party shit fool you. If he wants to support Trump, he could support Trump if he wants. Who would you want? Biden? Were you guys good with Biden? Make up your mind. It's like in Canada. This is why I'm gonna give you guys something, some history. He has a big head like them aliens have done. So look, check this. He's named after an Aryan hero in a crazy neo-Nazi book. Yes, you're right. Father really like. Okay, so check this. I'm gonna say about Canada too because we've been going through similar stuff. Now we had this guy, this prime minister, who stepped down, right? called Trudeau, because people didn't like what he was doing. They're saying he was doing too much shit what they didn't like, right? So they said, we don't want these liberals anymore. We want conservatives. We want the conservatives. People are protesting in the street. They're protesting now. We want this conservative government. We hate these liberals. So I'm thinking, all this protesting in the world, why didn't you guys vote in Poilievre for the Canadians? Why didn't you vote in the conservative? You guys are talking all this shit. Right now, I could see on Instagram someone replied to my shit because I'm saying some of these guys in the street are some damn fools, right? And them, like some of you Americans, not all of you, are saying about English, talk English. And some of these people who are replying to me, even on the Instagram, I know where they come from. They come from, they're not even working. They're from these small towns. They are on government assistance, and respect to everybody, but they're not even, they're white. That's what I'll be straying. They're talking all this shit, right? So Paul Paul isn't a US citizen. He's just trolling from his third world country. Ooh, so what I'm trying to say, no one, you can't make anybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. No, you cannot make everybody happy, people. Not everybody's going to be happy because they're saying, get Trudeau out. So Trudeau stepped down and put this guy Carney in. Carney went in, right? So he's still a liberal, but to me, he's like a conservative undercover. So if you didn't want the friggin' liberals in, why didn't you vote with all this fucking protesting in the streets and this uproar? Why isn't Poilievre the fucking prime minister? That's what I'm saying. Why isn't he not the prime minister? You can't defend what a woman is that party's got. 62 doesn't know what a woman is. I started to tell you guys that this man's a gangster, man. I proved my point. No one can't really defend Trump's actions. I proved my point. No one could defend his actions. Only thing what is defending I could defend is that the deportation, the deportation of these illegals. I don't support that. No illegal. You're called illegal for a reason. You're called illegal for a reason. So I don't support that. Mm-mm. I don't support that. If you support that now, that's why Americans are mad. Americans are right to be mad, are angry, some of them. Because if you have people who are maybe accused or you know that they're illegal and they're getting the jobs, they're getting the work, and you are not getting, and you see that it's hard for you to get a job, right? Right? They don't give a shit. How much people are really supporting or defending these people getting deported? There's not a lot of people defending these people getting deported. The outrage is the mistake. What happened, and Trump has to admit this, is that a lady got unalived. ICE agent, right, was involved in a situation where American, a born American, Caucasian lady got killed. So that will make emotions come out in America very big. That's why. If it wasn't a Caucasian lady who got unalived, it would have been different. It would have been different. But right now, he said he felt bad because of her father was a Trump supporter. That's the only thing he said. But he didn't say that the ICE agent done anything wrong. He didn't say that the ICE agent done anything wrong, people. Right? Stupid people don't know what illegal means. You're right. Like you know what? Not too much people came in here. There's some people who came in here trying to defend that, but not too much people could defend that because there is people who are legal. Now I'm going to bring this story up because he is a gangster still. But about all of the what's called Biden, what did Biden do? What was Biden doing known for? And I seen it even in Canada. Biden let thousands of people flood in freely. He let a whole flood load of people come in. So could you blame Trump for what he's doing after Biden, Mr. Joe Biden, made thousands of people come into America and come into Canada. You can't blame what Trump is doing in regards to the immigration stuff. People talk so much crap, go to Mexico illegally or overstay one day. And yes, it's true. It's true what you're saying. You go to any other country, right, without a visa, you gone. You're gone. It's true. Oh, remember Renee. Remember Renee. You know why Trump is not sympathetic? He only said he felt bad. And I'm going to be honest, raw and unfiltered, right? Katie Johnson, I heard about it. It's because she was LGBTQ. That didn't help. It's because she's LGBTQ. If she was married to, like, if it was she was married to a man, he maybe the ICE agent, he would have probably what it's called faced something, right? ICE agent would have felt something. But no, no. Trump could do what he wants, people. He's a gangster. He's the real American gangster, right? He's the real American gangster. I gave you guys a lot of evidence of this man, what he's doing. He's doing a lot of crazy shit. He doesn't care. Just look him up. Do your research on Mr. Trump. The people who support him, do your research on Mr. Trump before he was a president, not just now. Learn of his actions and what's to come next. He's going to draft people. If it gets very bad, he's going to draft people. This digital ID, they've been floating around for a while. Um, I don't know if he'll do that digital ID for Americans, but he's been talking about that. Um, Tomorrow, he's going to be talking about something new. Um, throughout the week, he's going to be talking about something new. He was talking about civil rights hurt the white man. It could be true too. I believe that civil rights did hurt the white man. Get to Trump. You are correct, Steve. Civil rights did hurt the white man, and it hurt the black man too in America. People might think segregation was so bad, but black people were more independent. Much respect for subscribing, Santa Man 62. Black people were more independent when it was segregation. Black people had to learn how to survive by themselves without anyone, right? And then those are the times where he's talking about make America great again. Black people were more independent when it was segregated, right? And then because the only reason they took that out because other cultures were coming to America. It was black people who in America fought for civil rights for every other culture to be in America. If it wasn't for black people, all the other cultures in America would have to come to the black community and drink from the black fountain, eat from black people restaurants, and guess what that would do? The black economy would be even becoming too rich. So guess what? You had to stop the segregation and make that money from the Asians and the Indians and everybody who was coming to America to in the melting pot so the so-called Caucasian man who's in charge will see the money. Right? Right? So look on that. Look on that. Gangster business. You can't blame Trump. When I say he's a gangster president, America started off gangster. America started off as a gangster nation. They gave alcohol and cigarettes to the natives, and then the natives, you know what, you know the story, right? You know the story. They gave, and on top of it, they went to Africa, hustled some of these African leaders to give slaves, and then they had slavery for hundreds of years, right? Sold black people like property. That's gangster. So I just gave you the proof. Besides Donald Trump being a gangster, the whole entire government system, even Canada, even all the colonies was taking gangster way, right? Donald Duck. Did you comply with the vaccinations? I don't think Donald Trump even took a vaccination. He claimed he took the vaccination, right? He claimed it. Good with that. The America was created by gangsters. If you want, what you call that? It wasn't "I come in peace." It's come. I come to take your shit, give you alcohol and cigarettes, and kill your ass, and then put you on a reserve. That's what happened. So when Trump is saying "Make America Great Again," he's right. What he's saying, he's saying make it how it was. It was when his people was running the country a certain way. Hide while rebels stand and fight. You're right. Gangsters hide while rebels stand and fight. Right? They hate the truth. You're right. People hate the truth. The truth hurts. It's better a lie. People rather listen to a lie. People rather listen to a lie. That's why Drake, I was about to say Drake. Trump says fake news. Trump says fake news, right? To hide things. Reverse psychology. Gangsters hide from the law while trying to be the law, while rebels stand against both, allowing others to speak. Yeah, yeah. Big gangsters, people. And people, please subscribe. Please subscribe, support. We're on all podcast platforms. It's not just on YouTube. I'm on Apple. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any place where you listen to podcasts. They are friggin' Dutch who invaded first New Amsterdam, nowadays New York. Yo, you don't know. So yeah, they were friggin' Dutch. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. The Amish, that's why you got the Amish, right? I think it's a demonic cult. Yeah, there's a lot of demonic cults. There's a lot of cults. And Trump has a big one with him. Trump got a big one. Russia, he got. You know what Russia said? What they're fighting right now? Satanism. That's their biggest threat. Satanic cults. That's what Russia says they're fighting. The biggest fight in Russia is satanic cults. So is Zelensky, for example, part of this? Is Zelensky part of this? I think it's a demonic cult. So, like I said, I'm going to rewind for some of you people why I say Trump is a gangster president. Giuliani from New York, because Trump's from New York, locked up a lot of mobsters, right? Who was in the way of Donald Trump doing his business. And a lot of these, it ended basically quite down the American mafia when Mayor Giuliani was in power, right? So look now, look now. And don't you see the last mayors of New York, who they are? Don't you see who's the last mayors? It's kind of like a movie. Look at the last mayor of New York. He was implicated in some type of corruption. The black guy, I forgot his name. And now you have a guy who was a rapper, right? Who's the mayor of New York? This I think he's Indian and uh, I think what African, but he looks sorry to say he looks Indian to me, right? Those are the mayors you got. Adams is his name. Yeah, he's involved in some corruption. That's why he stepped down or he's gone, right? And look at the new mayor of New York. Do you know who's the head of the FBI? Do you know who's the head of the FBI? Look it up. My dad listened to Don and became social media anti-vaxxer, and then I got the call. Dad tested positive. Hospital next day. 6 days died. Whew, that was a good one. Not MAGA cares. Take care, my brother. Bless up for subscribing. Subscribe, people. Subscribe. Yes, Mr. Donald Trump, the American gangster. He is Cash Patel. How do MAGA people feel about Cash Patel? Because I know a lot of Americans, black or white, they don't even like people who have immigrant backgrounds. They're not into that. They're into generational Americans. So how do people, especially the MAGA people, feel about Kash Patel, who's with Trump? How do you guys feel? People die from the flu too. Are you guys talking about that whole COVID shit? Do you remember there was one time, and I tell you guys this because I do content. If you talked about the COVID, they'd mark your video and shit, all types of shit they'll do. You know what I mean? Like Trump took that shit off though. Trump says he's against, he's with freedom of speech. Cash is faker than Trump. I could probably believe that too. Yeah. Yeah. Very observant of you. You know what helps prevent the vaccination? That's another story. You know what? I'm going to do an episode on that just because you guys are talking about that. I probably will do one maybe tomorrow or Saturday because I know a lot about that. And I've seen some stuff about that. People who actually were doing research. I was working at a place where they were doing that shit. Very sensitive topic right there. But yeah, Cash, he's American born, right? Head of the FBI. And he's the one who wants to catch the Canadian drug lord who's in Colombia. He's the one who wants to go after that guy, Cash, right? They're going after the money, people. They want the money. Trump wants the money. That's all he's after. He's after the money. And that's what gangsters do. They go and extort people and do all types of shit. Beat people up, extort them. The list goes on. Cash is an agent. I could believe that, right? Forgive me, but I don't think you are all that. Who's this? Are you back about vaccination? I know. You know what? I could get somebody to talk about that. That's why I invite people. If you know Steven about the vaccination, I'll invite you to come on and you could tell me all about this, about the vaccinations, right? You could tell me Ryan Wedding sure had a successful post-Olympic career. Oh yeah, and that's what started this whole thing with the Venezuela stuff. If people don't know that, but they don't know that because he's Canadian. You know they block Canadian media. Do you know that America blocks Canadian media? Why? Ask yourself. Trump is one of the two people that left office with less money than they came in. Really, but he's getting more money right now. No money, no honey by Melania. Yeah, but Trump's getting more money right now. He's getting more money right now. So what people are saying, he's getting dollars right now, making money constantly with Venezuelan money. Proves he's getting more money. Prove he's getting more money. He has control of a country. He just made a deal with what's called Greenland. He just extorted them like a gangster. He just took the Venezuelan president and locked him up. And the list goes on. He's went on what's called again the World Economic Forum yesterday and said, "Yo, we're making deals with all these countries. All these countries have to come to us for the oil in Venezuela." You don't think he's pocketing something like that for himself? Yes, yes, he's pocketing something for that, right? But people, please subscribe. If you're all in here, please subscribe, like, and comment. Like I said, you can look in the link. I got the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. You guys listen to iHeart in America, iHeart Radio, the works, any place where you listen to your podcasts. And I will be putting this episode also on that, right? So, yeah, Down to Earth Network too. Look out Down to Earth Network on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Right now, respect to Million Podcasts. We're the number seventh on that what's called the search site, seventh conspiracy podcast. Right? I don't really like that name either. But yeah, we're doing good right now. We're growing, people. Yeah, a lot of you guys are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Trump is the original American gangster, putting in work, people. He's putting in work every day. Remember, after you're listening and you guys are going back and forth. He's going to do every day. He has something: impeach, convict, remove, imprison Trump, and dump ICE agents. I don't know if that's going to happen. My spouse works on at the hospital. She came home carrying so many times 35. Oh, okay. Earth so poor the pandemic didn't stick around. I could talk about that. That's crazy. That there's a lot about that shit. Trump is the original die higher. Trump's the original gangster, yo. You see that? You see that thumbnail? Venezuela needs elections, not Trump. I heard they put somebody in, but I don't know who he is. I don't know who the person is. He said they have somebody in. How come they're not talking about it? How come they're not talking about who they put in? You got to ask yourself, why aren't they talking about it? Trump is a gangster. He hung his mugshot up in the White House. Yeah, you're right. Got got Peter Pan. You're right. He does whatever he wants. I heard he doesn't even like staying. Is it him who says he doesn't like staying in the White House? He doesn't even really like staying there. America is benefiting, so is Venezuela. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But listen, a lot of people like gangsters. Eh? Remember that. America likes villains. Most people like gangsters. Let me tell you that. Look, Scarface. The reason Scarface is big. Why is Scarface movie so big? Why is most gangster movies so big? Negativity gets the most attention. Reverse psychology. Anything what's negative is what gets attention. When you watch the news, it's not good news, it's bad news. When you're watching the news, it's most likely bad news. You ever notice that? They're not telling you anything good most of the time, right? What's one of the biggest watch shows in history back in the day? America's Most Wanted and Cops, right? If you watch these reality shows, I'm just giving you the psyche. Reality shows, especially these what's called I call them like these uh what's it called again? These reality shows. There's one big one, Baddies. You ever heard of Baddies in America on the what's called the Zeus Network? People watch that because they like to see these black girls fight constantly on it, fighting. So people love the shit. Trump was a reality star too. And what did he always say on his show? You're fired. He said, you're fired, Mr. Trump. He loved saying that shit. No one would watch that show if he didn't say, you're fired. No one would be watching The Apprentice if he didn't say, you're fired. Trump is not a thug, more like a what? What? Chop light. I don't know what he's saying. Do we get regular sick anymore? No, no, no. No COVID. They call it something else now. They're calling it something else right now, people. They're calling it something else. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. I heard so much stories from Americans before. I interviewed a lot of Americans, and they told me certain things what a lot of people don't know. That's why I do research, like some sundown law and shit. Certain states you can't even friggin' what was it? Alabama, you can't smoke. I don't know if that's true. That was hard to believe. If Alabama, you can't even friggin' smoke. Certain time you got to be inside. Like that's just an example of like some people don't know certain things and shit is the way it is, right? Mr. Trump guy. I'm not a Mr. Trump guy. I'm common sense guy, right? I don't know who's talking, but yeah, I'm not a Mr. Trump guy. I'm a common sense guy, right? Common sense. Like I said, a lot of people liked Obama. So, and Obama was so-called perfect to a lot of people. No, he wasn't. Obama wasn't perfect. Sundown towns, there's only a few of those. Well, she still got them. They still got sundown towns no matter what, even if there's a few of them, they still got them. I'm just saying an example what a lot of people don't know that what exists in the world, right? America has many different types of laws, many different types of laws, every state. Yeah, there's still dry counties. Yeah, yeah. So this episode was Trump Gangster President, meaning he'll do anything to stay in power. All right? Meaning he will do the worst, even to his people, to stay in power. He will make deals with communists to stay in power. He will make deals with anybody to stay in power, right? And he is in power right now. And nobody could do anything about it. There's no impeaching going. He got 34 charges that didn't stick. That didn't stick. He got 3 more years to do what he's doing. 3 more years. So is he going to be impeached? No. The only way Trump's going to lose is if he dies. That's the only way. They pulled in gullible people, mostly people who are very religious Christians. The billionaires are prepared for it to go to nuclear. Nothing's going to happen with America. Nothing is going to happen to America. You see the weapon what they used against Venezuela the other day. Trump is talking a lot. He says we got weapons you never seen before. They knocked out their power, and then these guys were bleeding from their nose and they're throwing up over themselves. 20 individuals, as they described it, came down from the sky and took out whoever they could take out. They took out all these guys, throwing up and bleeding. First, the power is knocked, then they came down from the sky after these guys were bleeding through their nose and throwing up. You ain't playing with America. Let me tell you that. You ain't playing with no America. No nuclear. Who controls space? This is why I'm giving you guys down to earth facts. Who controls space? The satellites. China thinks they're going to do anything, right? Maybe only Russia could do something. All these other countries can't touch America. They could just knock out your damn satellite. And that they could probably make that bomb, what you think you're going to let off, blow up your own country. Before you think you're going to hit America, you're going to damage your own country. Blow it up. They're watching everybody from above. Right? Island boy, Island Trump. China has their own space station. Yeah, and America was already there. If you believe in space, that's another topic. That's another topic, people. I don't want to get into that. But China has their own space station, but America has already been there. So they could build whatever they want. America been there from 19 what? They say they've been there from 1960 something, right? Who doesn't like no tax on overtime, no tax on tips or tax on social security for older people? If you believe in space, huh? I don't want to get into that. That's controversial about the space stuff. That's controversial about the space stuff. Only they've been there. Nobody. I haven't been to space. You haven't been to space, right? They could say anything to us, right? So even if there is whatever, um, America been there first, and Russia. So all these other people came after. So they could build whatever they want to try to compete with America. The point is, America's already been there. So whatever you try to build, they have something over. China's not a threat to America. It's just a game. China's not a threat, people. But yo, people, please subscribe. Right? Thanks for all of you joining, man. I really enjoyed a lot of this conversation. You guys putting down a lot of conversation, educating people and educating me too. I'll admit that, right? Some people will not admit that. Yeah, you guys educate me, give me knowledge too, as much as I'm giving to you. Afraid to talk about space. I'll talk about space. That's a whole different subject. If you want me to talk about space, I got subjects on here already. Me and my crew already talked about that shit. Yeah, the space subject. Hawaii for Trump. Respect to you all, people. Respect, respect, respect. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. But yeah, for sure, I have a couple topics I will bring up in the future if you want me to talk about space. This episode was called Donald Trump, Gangster President. Um, I will talk. You guys can put in the chat what subjects you want me to talk about. Put in the chat what subjects you want me to talk about besides Trump. But this is the hot topic. Trump is the biggest topic in the world right now. But if you guys want a subject where you all want to debate about and go back and forth about, I will talk about it 100%. Just let me know in the chat, right? Smoking weed, I could talk about that. I have other podcasts about that. The Myri Jane podcast, Americans landing on the moon, right? I could talk about that too. Only reason Russia is good in space, the rocket engineers were created and developed in Russia. Yeah. Funny how no one perceives there's another station besides, yeah. Trump has even scheduled marijuana. I have a whole topic about that with the weed business. Now he's getting soft on it so he could brainwash, so he could kind of capture people. Because he knows a lot of Americans don't want to be locked up for weed anymore and they want that freed up. So that's another story. He's going to control that shit. Because in Canada, that's legalized. It's legalized. You could walk down the street anywhere like that. Weed is nothing. I could smoke weed right outside of my house. I could walk down the street, smoke a weed like cigarettes. There's like so much dispensaries. It's like nothing. He sees that money because he's a gangster. So he sees that money. But people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. This is the Down to Earth Network with your host, Sean Myrie. Yo, people, thanks for joining the live. I'm out. Bless up.